Oh, actually, oh, I guess it's too late. I was going to connect to your Wi-Fi. But what's going on? Is anybody here? It looks like no one's here right now. Good. But so if you guys are watching this later, so due to a few circumstances, some equipment came up missing, and so we're starting a little bit late here. But in the meantime, let me show you some of my equipment. So this is a 1,000-watt tungsten light. Oops. So we're not going to be using this because, as you can see right here, it is shattered, and it actually blew some chunks out. I'm not sure you can see that there, but I certainly felt them when I stepped on them. So yeah. Oh, what's up, Aunt Julietta? This is the thumbnail was from a video file from this camera. This is the Samsung NX1, and this here is an 85 millimeter f1.4 lens that we're going to be shooting wide open. And that's what hi Carlos in there. Jim Allen, I'm ready for this. So it's going to be probably like a half hour of setting up, because we got to get everything just right. But I didn't want to start too late. This is a 650 watt light, and this is going to be the primary light that I'm going to be using. And then the camera, my Panasonic S1 camera, is going to be right on here, but I haven't mounted that yet. I'll probably give the camera to Carlos when it's time for that. And this right here is what they call a rim light. It's going to be illuminating the back of Carlos's head. That's why it's very narrow right here, just to focus on that part. And this is 350 watts. Right here is my shotgun microphone by Sennheiser. I don't know the exact model. That's going to be recording Carlos, and I also have a lavalier mic that's going to be under his shirt. So let's see. Hello, I'm here. It's Cat RN. Hey, Gerardo is there. What's
Cat
up?
RN, what is going on?
There.
Hey, Julieta, thank you for being here.
What about Gerardo? He took some time off from Fortnite.
Gerardo,
check it out.
welcome
What's
to
going
my-
on?
Welcome to my home.
Let me switch to the wide angle. Hold on. Boom. Yeah, so we're just getting things ready. So I'll probably hand things over to Carlos. Don't ask him his questions yet. He's not being recorded yet while I set up. So it may be a few minutes.
I need to run up to the store and get stock on you.
Okay. Oh man.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, I didn't bring my tripod accessory. Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. So Carlos is gonna go to the store real quick, but I guess I'm holding this up with my hand. I don't think I have the little tripod accessory. Well, anyhow, let me show you some other equipment. So the audio is going to be recorded on this. It's a Tascam DR40. So it's got some XLR ports on the bottom, also got integrated mics. But the reason why I'm starting late is because this thing is not the best recorder in the world. It's got something called audio drift. So you know, with your video and audio, it's very important that they have the same clocks, that they record stuff at the same speed. But nothing is really perfect, and this is kind of a low-end model, so there's a lot of drifting. It goes faster and slower. So when you're doing an hour-plus long interview, the sound is all over the place, making it impossible to cut. Or not impossible, but really difficult. So one way around that is, see, it's got a headphone out port. I would take that out and plug it into one of my cameras, and then later use an application called Pluralize, which would sync that up and stretch and compress the audio so it's all matches up nicely. Unfortunately, at home I tried to keep that cable very special, like in a very special spot, because I got little ones that'll rampage through my stuff. I kept it in a robe pocket. I didn't think anyone was going to see. Unfortunately, somebody grabbed that and washed it, and now that cable is gone. So it may be difficult to sync up the audio. But I didn't want to cancel. I didn't want to delay the stream. So, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have a little bit more setup going on here. So anyhow, let me read you guys the comments. Hello, okay. Hey guys, what's up, Arturo del? Let's see, Arturo. Oh man, it's really hard to see. Hold on. Del Rivero, what's going on? Norgab, what's up with you? Tony, hey guys, I cast you to the big screen TV. Looks great, thanks. Is that a mic? Oh, so yes, this has microphones and it also has ports to plug in other microphones in there. So those, let's see what else I got. Here we are. So this is the primary camera here. Oh, my hair's a little messed up. I rode my bike here, but this is my primary camera. It is the Panasonic Lumix S1. It shoots in 4K HDR. Rec 2100, if that means anything to you. Right there, on front of there, that Minolta lens that I have adapted. This is a lens from my deceased grandfather. So it's an old lens, probably from like 1982 or something. It's a 50 millimeter 1.2. And that's what I'm gonna primarily be recording Carlos with. So, let's see. Roasted Studios, what's going on? Jim, I hope you're staying warm. It's been 50s and 60s on high freezing winds. It hasn't been that bad. It hasn't been that bad today. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we were roasting over here. So, but yeah, it did suddenly get a lot colder last night. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of paralyzed here, unless I try to prop the camera up while I continue to set up. And other than that, I don't have anything interesting to show you, like battery packs and stuff like that. I didn't bring the tripod accessory, I don't think. If I did, then I could just place this down and be good to go. Well, there we go. How was your day? Oh boy, well, it wasn't the best. I feel like every time I try to do a stream, every time I have an idea to do something that'll be exciting or interesting or different, there's always obstacles, there's always setbacks. But, you know, I'm here, all relatively well, so it's relatively good. All right, so, but it should be an interesting stream. The good news is, you know, some people, is Carlos renting a room in the Mission District? That is correct, Norgab. Let me try to get people's names right. Norjipab. Hello from China. Hello. I can't read Chinese, but hello. Ni hao. Or if you're in the Canton region, I would say Lei ho. Yeah. I'm kind of new here, so what do you do for a stream when it rains? So I normally reschedule, but this camera here, this is my phone. It's a Samsung phone. It's like the S10 Plus. It's waterproof. The gimbal allegedly is water resistant, but it does kind of go haywire in the rain a little bit. And actually, the charging port got ripped off. So typically, it's best to reschedule when it rains. Also because wind, there's no going over the wind. The wind is just going to ruin the audio. Let's see. You can't keep a good man down, Leah. Thank you, Kaylee. Video games. Video games. Oh, Carlos doesn't play video games. I play video games. I play loads of video games. Hi, CatRN. You said hi a few times. Hello, CatRN. Or are you saying hi to the other people in the chat? Do you play video games? Yes. Yes, I do. I haven't been playing much lately because I've been so busy. Where is Kat? Well, if you're talking about CatRN, she is here in the comment section. If you're talking about Carlos's cat, it was in here and it ran off. Yeah, the cat is kind of skittish. So So in the meantime, there's just not anything I could do with one hand. If only I had like the controls, this would be a good commercial break. I'm right now looking. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn off the gimbal and I'm gonna pop up the camera. Oh yes, I was also saying hi to everyone. Whoa, would you consider yourself? Whoa. Would you consider yourself a Yimby or not really? Well, I don't know what a Yimby is. Explain to me what a Yimby is, and I'll tell you what if I consider myself one or not. But without knowing what it is, I would wager no. So, okay. I'm now in 6th. Congratulations, how are you liking 6th grade? Does Carlos have any cool art to show us? I bet you he does. You know, I feel kind of... I bought Carlos a lot of watercolors, but he hasn't really been using it. Actually, I spent a load of money. I mean, I don't have much money. I spent like $75 buying him a bunch of watercolor stuff. Hopefully that gets used in the future, but you know, I see it's been placed away, and that's not really a good sign. So now that I have that down, I'm going to try to put this here. Let me try to see your comments. Is that Robert's house? This is Carlos's house. So Julieta, I'll try to remember to get Carlos to show some cool art to you guys. Hi guys. Hi Wheeler Cliff. What's going on? Wheeler Cliff. Man, so you know, actually let me address something. So you know, things have been kind of tough for me recently. I've been feeling pretty discouraged. It's been hard, like after getting the break and then coming back, I haven't had the same kind of momentum that I had before, and like I felt like people weren't really appreciating the effort that I was putting forward, and I felt like what I was making wasn't as good as what I had been making before. Hopefully today's different. Today I'm excited for it, but I was feeling quite discouraged, and then, you know, feeling kind of bummed around my birthday, but Wheeler Cliff actually became a Patreon member, and actually for he's my largest patron, and so I want to say thank you to Wheeler Cliff. It really helped give me a boost of inspiration, made me feel a lot better when I was feeling quite low, so thank you very much. Yeah, so take MDMA. Then it would be pretty difficult to continue to set up. If I took MDMA, it would probably be today we're gonna stroke the cat. Yes, in my backyard. In terms of the affordability crisis, they generally advocate for building more housing because they say the root of the crisis is supply and demand, increase the supply. I found your channel when I was in 6th, now in 8th, and I feel lucky to catch you live. Whoa, thank you. See, in the affordability crisis, building more housing, I don't think, oh, hold on, the signal's got me. So the problem with that is that San Francisco is a very small city. It's 7 by 7 miles. So there's simply no space to add more unless you just build up. And the truth is that there's no way to meet the demand of the city. Everyone wants to come into San Francisco, so naturally the prices will rise. So right now they're like building over marshes and other stuff, and you really kind of sacrifice your green strips. You know, like they're trying to convert some of the parks and stuff. They're ripping down movie theaters and putting condos and everything. So the housing market, I think, is just nothing unless there's like some sort of crisis where there's an earthquake or a tsunami. Or like the water levels rise drastically. Building more houses is not really going to improve the situation. Lee, have you guys decided if Carlos is taking camera with him on his bike ride trip? So We actually were talking. We were talking last night about the trip, and we kind of got the general thing of it. So he's going to be going up to Ashland, and then from Ashland down to Yosemite, and from Yosemite back to San Francisco. So he's still in the preliminary stages. I think he's waiting for spring to come, so the weather would be as good as possible. We are trying to figure out how he's going to be able to. I want him to live stream it. He's reticent to live stream it because he's afraid he's going to go places where the signal cuts out, and he wants to be able to edit. But he wants to do all of this inside of a month, and so he would need to be biking about 40 miles a day, which is doable. But if you're like, even if you're going slow, like 10 miles an hour, that'd only be 4 hours of biking. But he wants to be able to camp places for a while, and he wants to, you know, I'm sure he's gonna have days that he's feeling off and is not gonna be able to do that, or days where he's just going, like when he's by Mount Shasta and it's just 10 miles of uphill and he just can't do it. So he wants to edit while he's going around, but my thought is, if you don't have the bandwidth to stream, you're not going to have the bandwidth to upload. You could always live stream. It will cut out and it may be patchy, but you could still take that and edit. So I was actually going to talk to him about probably buying a used Samsung phone, but he's here. Yeah, buddy. So can I give you the phone while I continue to set up?
Okay.
New California renter law 2020, no increase exceeding 5% plus inflation. Thank you, Newsom. I think San Francisco's got pretty good rent control laws though, right?
Yeah, they really protect the tenants quite a bit.
So Max Ryder was asking if you're going to be riding alone on your bike trip.
I believe so. That's not uncommon for bike touring, for people to ride along. Yeah. There's all sorts of different kinds of touring. Would you like some water, by the way?
I think I'm okay for right now. I'm just eager to set up.
Okay. Leah's setting up.
Yeah, first.
So these are comments from Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
I haven't been saying which is from Twitch and which is from YouTube. I've just been reading them.
So let's see. What do we have here so far? We have. Is that Max Ritter? Is he writing
Max
along?
Ryder.
Ryder.
Yeah.
Sorry, Max. California. Yeah. Okay. Same comments as before.
Oh, so I have redundant comment system in case there's a problem.
I see.
So this one, so I'm just explaining to Carlos. Over here, that doesn't show any duplicates. Over here, there might be some duplicate comments.
All right. And which
I'll focus on this side.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to, you can identify which is from Twitch and which is from YouTube. I don't know if everybody's seeing each other's comments.
Lee's channel audience, welcome to my room.
Oh, they want to see the cat.
Oh, you want to see the cat?
Meanwhile, I got a plug over there, right? Okay.
Allow me to take you on a tour
Okay.
of a San Francisco. This house is it's over 100 years old. It's about 120 years old. But the cat's a little she's a little scared of people coming in. Let's see if we can get her to say hello. All right. Hello, cat. This is the cat. Her name is Cat. Say hello, Cat. She's shy. She's 5 years old, so she still has some growing up to do. All right. So the kitchen, very spacious. It's not very common for the city to have such a spacious kitchen. Hearts, smiley faces. Oh, yes, I love my cat as well. Anyway, we do have a very nice view. This is one of the highlights of my flat here. See? Oh, it's getting a bit dark, but the skyline out there, you see it? Oh boy, it's windy. Oh, it's been very warm these past couple days, and suddenly it's windy. Okay, let's check up on Lee, see how he's doing. Sorry, these comments are a little hard to read. See, it's a dark background, and Julieta, good to have you with us. Lee's bicycle, my gosh, this bicycle is ridiculous. This seat is way up there. Unbelievable. And this is where I spend most of my time.
Oh, they wanted to see some of your art.
Some of my art.
Would we, maybe we'd have to show that afterwards, right? Or
Well, let's see.
because I don't want to rip up. But oh no, I just put that in place. Let's see.
Here we go.
And then I was looking for where to plug in this light.
This one's my most recent one. I started messing it up, so then I gave up on it. But let's see here. Maybe you can see it. It's been kind of being rubbed around quite a bit. This is Paul McCartney and Linda, right after the Beatles broke up. You can see there. A nice happy couple. That's charcoal on paper. Lee's encouraging me to get into watercolor, and that's a bit intimidating. But I'll get there. Not to worry. And as far as other projects, this is my woodworking station up here. You can see all those nice hand tools, paint brushes in the background. This here is my nephew. Boy, these screen names are a little tricky. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, it's hard to read because they're colored.
Yeah, they're colored. That's exactly what I was trying to explain.
Yeah, you know, like we could read the comments okay because it's white. Oh, where's the fold-out chair that I was sitting on? Oh, by the way,
It's in there.
So this is the lavalier microphone.
You can probably tell that there's no gimbal. Shaky, right?
Well, but it has optical image stabilization.
Do you pencil paper? Wow, that's cool. Lag.
There's lag on the comments.
That's what Max is saying. DW.
Is it maybe the signal's cutting out? Where's the? Oh yeah, the signal's no good. Hey, could you write down your Wi-Fi password?
I think I can show it to you. We do have
I might already have it in the phone. Let me just turn on Wi-Fi.
We do have
Sorry.
some technical issues, as they say.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's see, I'm trying to switch over to Wi-Fi. Let's see if this is gonna work. Is it ATT? Oh.
Comcast.
Xfinity Wi-Fi. Nope, that's not it. I'm trying to find... Sorry, I'm trying to get onto the Wi-Fi here, but it's not showing up. Is the Wi-Fi off?
Oh, that's the password, but I guess you're looking for the Home Depot one.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
I got you. That's the...
XYZ? Right?
There's no spaces or anything?
No.
That's the entire... That's
Oh, I know.
unbelievably long password, so bear with me. See?
Alan wants to keep it as secure as possible. He's in charge of the internet. And yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Oh, dang it, there was a typo. How many...
Yeah. Let me see here. the gorilla, the L's are capital. Or no, they're capital I's. I know.
Sorry, I'm only halfway through the.
And it might not be correct
Password.
once you type it in. It's
Yeah.
tricky.
There's no spaces in there, are there?
No spaces.
Thank goodness. And this is the most ridiculous password I've ever seen.
You want the window open or closed?
When we maybe close it for now because we're gonna want it later. Oh my goodness. Sorry, people. It's the most retarded password I've ever seen. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't use that word anymore. It was the most
Which way is
excessive.
Is the camera looking at you?
I think so. Oh, and it's especially hard on the keyboard because there's so many special characters.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
Okay, let's see if that worked. Let's try to connect, and hopefully that will solve the connection woes.
Yes, indeed.
Incorrect password.
Maybe I can tell it to you as you type it.
Wait. So, can you tell me what I did wrong here?
Really? Gorilla.
Those are I's.
Okay, the capital L's, I mean the capital I's and the gorilla.
Yeah.
And then equals 19. Oh, you wrote lake. It should be late.
Oh, that look. Okay. So
Yeah.
you see how that looks like a K?
I see that.
Okay.
You got it though.
Wow, that's the most. Oh my goodness.
I know. And he's changing it all the time, adding more to it.
Oh, okay. So I think. Let me know if we're live. I was switching over to the Wi-Fi. Should be a lot better now. Hello. Okay, so let me see. Lag. Lol. Hi, Heart. Hi, DW. I have to go, Lee. Bye, Gerardo. Hi, Carlos. Says Cat RN.
Cat RN. Hello.
Looks good. Okay, should be much better now. So, Carlos, you want to hold this? I just need to set up a few more things.
Why no gimbal?
Because I was actually setting it up to where I could put it down right when you came back. So where do I attach the 350 watt light?
Behind the bed, where that cable is.
But there's already a 650 watt light plugged in there.
To the power strip
And that power strip, isn't that power strip?
underneath the desk.
That power strip is plugged into the same place, right?
The same outlet. Yes.
Okay, so I guess I should just unplug that strip then, right? Seems safer that way. So this place is Victorian, right? There's not that many outlets.
That's right. It's an old house. It's a patchwork of old and new.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not so bad. That 650 watt light is on a dimmer.
Looks clear now. Excellent. Thank you, DW.
Oh man, I feel sad for those people who are watching that there's so much setup.
Here, setup. This is the behind the scenes of filmmaking. A lot going on.
Yeah. I must look ridiculous.
Whoa, Cat RN. I am well. This has been my new passion. See, this is my bicycle, which I plan to take on a touring adventure. It's hard to see behind because there's a bunch of junk behind it. Scully K. Yo guys, Kevy. Don't blow a fuse, says Tony, Shiano, Jim Allen. Always happy to see Carlos. Thank you, Tony.
Okay, so we got some light set up.
Gives
Alright, so I'm gonna have to take the phone away from you.
okay. Things might start to explode.
Yeah. So now I need to do something. I need to get Carlos situated right here, and then focus all the this thing's. Hopefully this glass doesn't blow up like the other one did.
It sounds like it's cracking.
Yeah. So I need to get Carlos to sit here. Oh, and to turn off this light. Could you turn off the overhead light?
They got to meet the cat.
Oh, okay. So, light switch is back there. All right, it's starting to look more like.
Does it look like the picture?
So, could you sit down so I could focus the camera on you and everything? Oh, okay, you're getting your drink here. Why is there a vibration going on in here? Oh, it's from the washing machine?
Yep.
Okay. Is this Carlos's room, Manuel Harrow? Yes, it is.
Manuel, welcome. This is where I was when I was watching these streams. Oh boy.
Oh, so
I don't have a mic.
I know, I need to focus the cameras and get the lights on you, and then get the mic on you. Okay. So,
This feels.
what is that? There's a lot of noises going on in here. Okay.
Yeah, maybe just turning off the.
Oh, there's. Okay. Well, here you could have the camera for now. So I'm going to be.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm going to be raising this up, actually.
It's looking like a TV studio in this place. Scully K, it's I am drinking a rock star. No heavy duty drinks for me. That's about as crazy as I get.
So I'm gonna have the light way up here. I didn't leave it like this because I was afraid it's gonna get knocked over because I don't have any sandbags.
Scully K, this is my little pad. I rent a room here. I share it with 4 other guys. Well, currently it's 3 other guys because one of them moved out, but yes. Usually it's 5 of us here sharing this flat.
All right.
Awesome. I'm glad you approve, Scully K.
Oh, you liked it? Okay, now hold on. Let me make sure that.
Oh, right. Heavy distortion. I do enjoy a cigarette after a long bike ride. Sometimes I kind of hold off just to take a break and you know, enjoy a good vista somewhere with the smoke. But I am certainly trying to quit. I must tell you. Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat having all this filmmaking equipment in here.
Can you turn around, Carlos? I'm just trying to get it right on the.
See, look at this. Look at this mic. All right, Cat RN, that is good news. Your brother is on step 9 already. Well, I mean, yes. I mean, it's easy to skip steps. So no rushing along there. Some steps may take months and months to thoroughly get through. But that's excellent. That's good to hear.
Okay. Oops.
And Julieta, so happy for you, bro.
See, I'm trying to move you in place to get the microphone set up. You could change the cameras just by pressing the little icon.
It doesn't come naturally to me.
Right, the little phone icon.
Okay.
And try to get into position so I can focus that camera on you.
So, yeah. Interviewed. Time to get into interview mode. Take a breath. It's gonna get deep. It's going to get serious.
Okay,
But,
try not to move too much.
He is focusing the camera as we speak, so I cannot move.
Okay, position yourself as if you're talking to me.
What's crazy about this focusing of the camera is that, you know, my nose might be in focus, but then my eyes won't be. That's how sensitive the camera is. Or if my face is in focus, my ears will be out of focus. Yeah, pretty crazy. Hello, Aunt Julieta. A lot of healing in that step. DW. Heart. Is that me, Scully K?
What is that noise?
Do I look scared?
What is that popping noise outside?
It's the wind. It's very windy outside.
No, that pop, pop, pop.
I think that might be the light.
It sounds like it's outside. Are all the windows closed? No, there's one window open, huh?
Is that right? A window might be cracked open. Yeah, we were actually rushing quite a bit, trying to make the stream before 7 p.m. And we're still rushing now.
Yeah, well, there's always setbacks. Okay, hold on, let me get this all set up. This is the beauty shot. Okay, put your arm down. Okay, let me position you a little bit.
If it wasn't difficult enough to set up for Lee's documentary, and now we have the Lee's channel stream going on.
Take a
So
picture of you.
it's tricky. Hopefully it's not too boring for the audience out there.
So it's basically it's almost done. We just have to get you mic'd up and then power everything up.
Nippy yay!
Oh wait, where's the
Welcome to my room.
Okay.
Here's Lee with all of his equipment all set up.
So
Pretty fancy.
we put that through. So right now he's putting a microphone under his shirt and then up and out. So I need to get some tape like that and then tape it up.
Yeah, I think you do it better.
Right.
I can't do it myself as good as you would do it.
Yeah, it's easier to do it to someone else, I think.
Don't worry, I don't mind.
Okay.
It's like it's not too awkward. But now I get to see how it's done. Through.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Blair Witch Project. I imagine you must be in your 30s. Millennials don't know what the Blair Witch Project is. But
I heard that 30-year-olds are also millennials.
that's right. I think up to 35 we are millennials. But I had never heard that term, millennials, until recently.
Yeah.
I was considered Generation X while I was growing up.
Oh, okay. I thought we're a little bit young for Generation X.
With the millennial generation? Generation Y?
Yeah, I think we were Generation Y, right?
It changes. I don't really take those.
I consider millennials to be people who don't know life before September 11th.
Those are millennials?
Yeah. They don't know what it was like before September 11th happened.
Yes, they've always been around with smartphones and
Terror.
yeah, post 9/11 world.
Hold on. So,
This will be a change of pace. I mean, normally we walk around the city and
hold on here, Carlos.
bring the audience around town and talk to some of the people struggling out there on the streets.
So you want this to be against your skin, right? Not against the shirt.
I just wanted to not be so visible.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so.
But I mean, whatever
sorry
works.
about this. It's a little awkward.
It's kind of like having a doctor examine me.
That's good.
Oh gosh. this is a workout holding up with this phone. Even if it was just my arm held up like this, that would be a workout.
Okay, so
Why no gimbal?
oh, even with the gimbal is even harder. That's more weight.
But
weight.
I'm concerned about the camera shaking more than my arm. Ooh, that's a workout.
Yeah. Oh man, when I'm streaming for hours at a time, with my arm out like that, with the rod and then the extra weight, my arm literally gets to the point of failing, where it's like I'm shaking.
Yeah.
I can't use my hand for the following day, and yeah. If probably were to look at my if you were to take apart my shoulders and look at them, you probably could tell a huge difference between my right and left arm.
It's not just the weight, it's the fact that you're having to hold it still. So
Yeah.
you really have to stiffen up your shoulder there.
Hold on, this thing's popping up. Could you tape that bit down? Sorry, the tape's all mangled.
So tape it against my skin?
Yeah, because it's just popping straight up over there. And so now I could put it. Well,
I don't really know where to put this piece of tape.
oh well, not that big of an issue. I don't think people will care too much.
Okay, I will put it on this cable that seems to be just doing what
Okay,
it wants.
so where's that battery pack that you had seen?
It's in one of those drawers, those plastic drawers that are up there.
Okay. So we are going to start in the next few minutes, not the top one.
Yeah, it might be that one or the bottom.
Okay. So sorry for you guys who've been sitting here waiting for 48 minutes.
Wow, that's how long it's been already.
Yeah.
My God, we've been rushing so much. It feels like we just got started.
Okay. So, oh, and where's the fold-up chair?
It's in the closet on the right side.
Okay.
You should be able to just slide it out.
So, hold on, we got to get me set up. Blair Witch Project was good. I like to get scared during a movie. I actually never saw it.
Yeah, I thought it was good just because of how low budget it was. And yeah, I mean, no need for all sorts of crazy special effects.
Remember when that thing came out, everybody thought that it was like a real thing?
That's right.
They thought that it was real. They made the actors like basically go on vacation and not talk to anybody.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like wrestling fans, where deep down they know it's fake, but they want to believe it's real.
And then I had some padding here before, right?
Yeah, that's up there on you'll see it.
This
there. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is that he's on a stool and I'm on a low chair, so I try to get myself higher so the sight line looks a little better.
This is a bit of an experiment. I mean, we're not.
Yeah, if everything had gone well, I would have been here at about 6:30. It still would have been 15 minutes of setup though. But actually, I probably would have been faster without recording.
But before, it was just me and Lee and the quiet, reflecting on our past.
Yeah.
And now we have the Lee's Channel audience with us.
So what we filmed, we've had like 3 sessions, or is only 2 sessions, right?
That's right.
We've had 2 sessions so far. Both times just talking about life before entering the system. We haven't actually gone into him getting in the system because it's his life story, and there's so much richness there. There's a lot to cover.
Like with many stories, once you hit like your 20s, it gets kind of boring. But life.
Well, you got a pretty interesting life after hitting 20.
Life before 20 was just crazy.
Okay, so what's that?
Catch.
Oh, I see.
With all this rushing, I feel like I'm,
So, they say the stream looks better over at Twitch. Hold on.
That's usually the case, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never heard it otherwise. Hold on. Whoop. Now that we're on Wi-Fi, I could have even had it. I could have been streaming at 1440p actually. This is Carlo's place. Where is the cat? Carlo Gambino asks.
Cat.
You're gonna have to scroll backwards. You still got some time while I set up. You probably got like.
Yes, just go back a bit. In fact, can I go show Carlo Gambino?
Nah, I'm already set up. You already got the mic set up and everything. Carlo, the cat was on there.
You'll see it. Just go back How long? Maybe 20 minutes? 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to go back, which you are, because I can see your little icon. Okay, you want to try saying something, Carlos?
Hello, Lee's channel audience. Hello.
Hold on. Oh, damn it. So I gotta configure the
I can point
audio
to where
recorder.
my mouth is if you want.
No, it's okay. So it's not recording. Okay. The source. We want to external in, and I'm gonna do independent.
How many viewers do we have?
Okay, hold on. Can you say something? Or you were saying, what is going on here? Input. Ooh, I could do it independently. All right, would you say something now?
How many viewers do we have?
We got 18 on YouTube and 3 on Twitch.
Nice.
It's not working. Okay, try say something again.
Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Ah, dang it. There's always issues. Okay. Okay, now can you try?
Yep. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, try again.
What's going on, everybody?
Okay, so let me see. Whoop. Battery. Okay, now say something.
Something.
All right, so I'm gonna have to steal the battery from your clock to put it in this microphone. So people, this is battery operated, that microphone, and the battery has died. So fortunately, we do have one AA battery, which is all I need.
Above the
Where's-
speaker boombox, silver box thing.
All right, here we go. Oops. Should I leave it down there?
If you want.
Okay. All right. So we will be. We're gonna end up starting this thing at right around 8. So that's an hour setting up. Sorry, people. Hold on. Here, you could hold this for a moment.
That's surprising, because most of the setup was already here. You know, we already had these tripods. The tripods have been here for weeks.
Yeah.
Just sitting here. So who do we have here? Carlo Gambino. I'm glad you were able to make it today. I think we missed you the past couple streams, and I saw your comments. I meant to respond to them, but I can respond to them now. And
Yeah, he asked if you were ever in Mexico.
yes, I saw them. I've never been to Mexico, but I'd like to go. If I can go down there on my bike tour, that would be great. I would need to get a passport.
Yeah, the problem would be coming back.
Yeah, it could be tricky. A little sketchy down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's part of the adventure. Yeah. So after planning a route, it looks like in 30 days I'll only be able to travel maybe around 1,300 miles. I was hoping to cross several states, but it would take a whole lot more than a month. And, it would be traveling maybe 50 miles a day or so at a comfortable pace. What do we have here? Oh no, we gotta go, Carlo Gambino.
Oh no, it's about to start right now.
Well, thank you for, checking in. It was good to have you, and I hope you catch the next one. Yeah, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Carlos, Mr. Gambino there.
All right.
Órale, carnal. It's a little tricky to read the Twitch ones just because it's got so much other writing around it.
All right, try to get in position.
Hi, DW. Hello. This feels like a dream, having the stream here. I gotta tell you, that light there, it feels like sunshine. How many watts is that? 600?
650, but I dimmed it. So
Yeah.
you're actually now being recorded on audio at least. So since it's not being synced up, I'm going to. Okay, so that's recording. We're going to have to do a good old clapper in front of your face. Oh,
Sure.
Carlos, turn around, turn around. Okay, you're not in the correct position. That's why you should never, let me scooch you over. You should never do an interview on a spinning chair because they're going to spin all the way around as much as they don't even want to. They're going to do it. And it'll make life difficult for you as editor.
So I should keep my knees in the right.
Oh, you just hit the mic. Let's see. Let me get the gimbal, and that battery pack is in my pocket. Okay, so we're literally going to start here in 2 minutes. So it's going to start at 8. And actually, I need to do 2 things. I need to get the gimbal set up, and I need to close this window because the audio is very sensitive. Okay, it sounds like it's this window that's cracked open. Oh, Carlos.
Need to get some lip balm.
Okay. All right, I think that's better. Oops. Your lip's gonna be suddenly shiny. We cut through the footage.
I've had it the whole other times.
Oh wow, there's, you want to mat that down, it's really shiny. All right, so hold on. Now I'm just gonna put it on the gimbal. It's literally gonna be 1 minute. I love Lee and Carlos and the work they do. Thank you, DW. Countdown. Yeah, it's
Where's DW?
we're gonna be here. Carlos wants to know where you're from, DW. Okay, so oops. Enabling my gimbal.
DW. That's Arthur from Arthur and Friends.
Oops, sorry people. What the heck? There we go. Okay, hold on. Wow, it didn't go crazy this time. So boom. Okay. Now here we are. We are live. You want so the question is, do you guys want the wide angle? Okay, there we go. It's back. All right, so wow, that is wide angle. All right, well anyhow, so I hear background noise. Yeah, well, what can we do? Anyhow, so it is time to ask your questions. It is 8:01. So whatever questions you ask for Carlos, you could ask him about his life, growing up, life in the foster care system, life after. Okay, from Commune Goon. Carlos, what is the biggest regret you have of being in the foster care system?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Wow, biggest regret. I think I sabotaged a lot of placements. I had some placements that were good, some foster home placements, and I probably could have stayed in the nicer places a little longer. And I wonder what my life could have been like if I would have stayed in some of the nicer ones. But you know, I guess I acted out a bit. I tested the limits of my foster parents, and eventually got myself kicked out. But you never know. I'd like to think that no need for regrets. I don't know. I don't think too much about regrets.
Okay, let's ask the opposite. It makes you a very diverse person, says Stephen Thibault. So, what is the best thing, I guess, of being in the foster care system?
It was a bit of an adventure. You know, although it's not an ideal place to grow up, I guess experiencing the foster care system firsthand, you know, you just can't get that that kind of insight, you know, from a book or a documentary. It's a complicated experience. You meet all sorts of interesting people, and you make all sorts of friends. Of course, there's a lot of heartbreak. Boy, you guys are coming up with some good ones. Wow.
DW asks, why do you feel you sabotaged or tested the limits?
Well, you see, when you're with your family, you know that they're there to stay. It would take a whole lot for them to just get rid of you or throw you away, discard you, abandon you. But with somebody that doesn't really know you all that well, you really want to, you really want to test their commitment, and you want to be sure that they care about you. And I guess, you know, as a kid, you want to know really how much are they willing to put up with to keep you around, and also to how much support are they willing to provide when you go through difficulty. You know, do they expect the whole thing to be easy? You know, how do they handle challenging times? You know, that's what really matters, is when challenges come up. So sometimes you want to test it before a real life challenge actually shows up, so that you can have faith that they will be there for you. And a lot of the time they won't. They want it to be easy.
So before this rolls off the top of the screen, DW says, I'm in the process of becoming a foster parent myself with the goal of adoption. I have been studying trauma so I can be better equipped to have empathy and respond with love to the hurts of the child. So how could a foster parent create a sense of security to the child?
Incredible. These are some questions. Wow. I think providing a bit more freedom, not being afraid of something bad happening, allowing the foster kid to make mistakes, be on his own for a bit, give him some independence. Depends on what age we're talking about here, but try to avoid lots and lots of restrictions and rules and consequences to all sorts of things. You know, I think that would be helpful. But yeah, I think I also, as a foster parent, maybe work on your own emotional fortitude, because I think you're all they have in many ways. So yeah, just be sure to be a strong person emotionally to be able to handle what may come up.
So Scully K asks, what happened when you turned 18? Did they just throw you out of the whole foster care system on the streets?
Well, you know the entire time that when you're 18, you're no longer entitled to the services of the foster care system. Everyone's aware of that. So leading up to it, they do start getting you ready through programs such as ILP, Independent Living Program. These are classes where you learn about bank accounts, learn how to get an apartment, learn how to get a job, work on a resume. But I think the only flaw there is that they're not real world experiences. These are still sheltered kind of classes. Yeah, so yeah, I think you would need real life experience, getting a job, really getting a driver's license, really being out on your own, a few years leading up to adulthood.
Yeah, that ILP or ILSP here in San Francisco, it's an optional thing that you got to do your own self as a minor, right? It's not like they send you over there. You got to
Right.
seek it out.
They encourage foster kids to go to independent living program by giving them incentives like gift cards and gifts that they have raffles.
Oh, I never got any of that stuff.
Right. Sometimes they go on trips, but it's a fun little program. It encourages you to be more positive about independent living.
Jim Allen asks, Carlos, have you contacted any long-distance family? And if so, is there any chance you will ever see them or meet them?
Well, through Facebook, I met family members that I never knew existed. So a couple years back, I did spend a Christmas with family members that were relatives of my mom. I don't know any relatives from my dad's side, or even my dad, or any kind of information about my dad's side of things. But yeah, it was nice to meet them. But I feel like they're still strangers. We don't have much in common. They live far away. I was able to see pictures that I had never seen before, so that was nice. Yeah, I think we're in contact through Facebook, and we send each other happy birthdays and Merry Christmas. But we're not. I wouldn't say we're close like family should be close. I need to work on creating my own family.
All right, so there's a couple things. As far as the Facebook goes, there's a lot of people who want to be your friend on Facebook, Carlos. The newest one being Wheeler Cliff, who is a new patron who actually I'm going to be giving you half of that money that he's.
Wheeler Cliff, that sounds great. Yes, and thank you for helping me with food. I sure could use more food.
DW also says thank you, Carlos, and gives a nice big pink heart for your answer. And Crave Destruction. Sorry, Wheeler Cliff. Sorry, I skipped you. When was the very first time you tried drugs in your life, and what were you feeling at that moment?
Oh, interesting one. Well, fortunately, I really didn't try any drugs during my teenage years. I probably would have, but I just didn't have the access. I would say as far as drug use, started when I was 16 using cough and cold medication. Consuming the entire package of cough and cold pills. And
weren't you 15 at that time?
Sure, 15, 16. But that was basically my first experience with drugs. I was 18 when I first tried cannabis, and I was also 18 when I first tried alcohol. But yeah, I do remember when I was a kid really wanting some sort of an escape. And if I had access to drugs during those days, I certainly would have used them. I imagine so.
Okay. So you were doing Red Devils, right?
Well, that's what they call them. That's right.
Did you ever do any robo tripping?
I don't know what that is. I did inhale a couple aerosol cans a couple of times, but yeah, that wasn't something I did very much. That was something the kids in the shelter would do. But yeah, it felt dangerous. It really.
So how many times did you take Red Devils?
I would say the cough and cold medication, Red Devils. That was maybe 3 or 4 times. The first time I was a little nervous about it, so I only took a small handful, maybe 10 pills. Then after that, I noticed that the other kids in the shelter were having 3 boxes at a time. So I thought, okay, just go ahead and try the whole box. And the last time I did it, I stopped doing it because I had symptoms, like neurological damage symptoms, that were just not going away day after day after day. For years, I was having muscle spasm and twitches and involuntary movements, and my vision was a little wonky. My eyes were twitching, and restless leg syndrome, and every now and then, even today, 18 years later, or 19, 20 years later, I still feel some of those familiar symptoms from the Red Devils.
And so you still get twitches from time to time? That was a big thing.
That's right. Ever since I took that package of Red Devils, I can't seem to really sit still calmly. And it was really bad that night and the days after. And over the years that damage, has gotten a little better, but it's still there. So, but teenagers in that system will get high on just about anything.
So I gotta hurry up because these comments are going off the top. So I think it was Crave Destruction was asking, has he said anything about his art? So yes, we kind of did show a little bit of that art. Also, Carlo Gambino is still asking about that art. We showed it earlier. We'll show it again at the end of the stream. It would mess up everything to do it right now. So it took so long to set up.
It's earlier in the stream. You can meet the cat, and you can see one of my drawings.
We'll show it at the end after we've felt like we've got a good amount of interview in there, and maybe you're tired. We'll wrap up again
for a couple of hours. And be okay.
So Carlo Gambino wants to know: have you ever tried black tar?
Are we talking about heroin here,
That's
Carlo
right.
Gambino? I've tried different sorts of opiates, but not black tar heroin. I've tried morphine. I've tried Suboxone, the pharmaceutical form of heroin, which those things are just as potent, if not more potent.
Do you want to tell the stories behind any of these?
Let's see here. Well, they're not exactly fun, interesting stories. A friend might offer me a pill of morphine. Throughout the homeless days, you're surrounded by people that have drugs on them, and a lot of drug addicts like to share their drugs so that they have company while they're using. So, I wouldn't say they're interesting stories to tell.
So I missed some. Oh, somebody at Crave Destruction said, I'm trying to remember. I'm glad you didn't fall into the black hole of addiction, but that is something you had to deal with later. That live stream is up over on the Patreon. You can see right there.
It's called An Honest Talk About Addiction.
Yeah, so check that out.
I most certainly did fall into substance abuse addiction, and it multiple times it's been a struggle to get clean. I think that's one of the reasons why I've had a hard time like the times that I became homeless was probably because of substance abuse.
Um, Julieta asked, do you feel that your emotional pain is easing over time?
I feel like it's something to be managed. Emotional trauma, emotional pain. It's something that I carry with me, and I basically need to build up more strength to be able to carry that baggage with me. But I somehow feel like it 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 won't go away. Year after year, uh, there's that baggage, emotional baggage, especially when traumatic things happen to you during the most important years of your development, throughout your childhood and teenage years, the times that you were supposed to grow and develop, and you weren't able to. It affects your adult life. Yeah.
So I'm going to focus on the questions here because there's a few comments. I don't want to miss the questions while they scroll off the top. DW, how long were you in the foster care system? I'll read all the questions he has. How many placements did you have? Did you receive counseling while in the foster care system? After, was it helpful? If so, in what way? So let's start. How long were you in the foster care system?
Well, I was in and out of the foster care system. I first went in when I was 2 or 3, and I spent about a year in a foster home during that time. And there's always counseling involved, school counselors, therapists. You're being evaluated by social workers, authorities that have their foot in the door. They as far as your home life. So yeah, my mom had to deal with authorities, checking up on her, looking over her shoulder as far as how she was conducting herself as a parent. And how many placements did I have?
Yeah.
Many. It depends on really what you mean by a placement, because there's foster homes, there's group homes, there's institutions. Yeah, you get moved around quite a bit. And also
Shelters,
and juvie. And also, there was a time that I was trying to live on my own, trying to go from home to home without being in the system. Couch hopping, basically, as a homeless teenager when I was 15.
So how many group homes were you in?
How many group homes? It would be hard to count. I'd have to really think about it. But if I had to guess, I would say around 6 group homes.
So we met inside Star House. Had you been in a group home before that?
Yeah, I had been, I think, in 2 group homes before we met at Star House.
So there was 2 group homes, and then there's Star House.
The first group home I went to, it was crazy. It was my very first experience in a group home, and I wasn't going into that group home because I was a bad kid or I had done something wrong. I was in the system because my mom had died. But the group home that I first went into for my first time was filled with all these thugs. It looked like they had just gotten out of prison. They were all tattooed up and muscular and tough, and so was the staff. They were also the same kind of people, and yeah, I had to get the heck out of there. It was a level 14 group home.
What the hell?
That's how they categorize them. But a lot of the time they don't pay attention to the levels. They just put you wherever there's space. They want to move you along.
So you should explain, I think above level 10 is when they could start putting their hands on you.
Oh, right.
They don't know what that level means.
Level 10, level 11. We were in a level 10 when we met?
Yeah, I think something like that. So we don't really have any freedom, really, and oh, it's your interview. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. That's right. They can put their hands on you when you get to a level 15, and I forget what else was different. I'm sure I'm not an expert in the system. I just know my own experience.
A level 14, I think, is amongst the highest levels, so you could be restrained at any time.
I believe that those are also felons, that they've been incarcerated.
Did you receive counseling while you were in the foster care system?
Oh yeah, that's kind of a must. Anyone who enters the foster care system not only will get counseling, but will probably be put on medications. So it's pretty much unavoidable. You get school counselors, and if you're in a shelter, if you're in a group home, you get group counseling, individual counseling, psychiatry counseling, and pretty much everybody gets put on some sort of medication, a downer, an antidepressant. Just, I, I believe that it's simply to keep the kids subdued, under control, so that they don't act out too much. I think that's really what the medication is for. It's guaranteed. I didn't know any other kids around me that weren't medicated. And a lot of the time the medications have a real negative impact. Yeah, should the audience say hi to the cat?
Well, I think the cat's gonna jump on your lap and they'll be able to see it.
Let me adjust so that the cat...
Oh, don't go scooch forward because the focus will go off.
I'm trying to stay in the same place.
So, okay, did you find that counseling helpful at all?
It really depends on the counselor. Sometimes there were certain counselors that I just loved, and I wish they could stay with me. But what was I going to say? What's really unfortunate is that there's no guarantee that they're going to stay with you long. Suddenly you move and you have to start over. A new school, a new home, a new therapist, and whatever you had going for you at your old placement is just left behind. So yeah, there are some good ones. I wish I could find them today and catch up with them.
So
a lot of the time, the good counselors kind of break the rules a bit. There are some liability issues where they might give you more freedom than they're allowed to give you.
You're talking about the people who are working there. I think he's talking about therapeutic counseling.
Yes, I had counselors that would actually help me do things that I wasn't supposed to do. They would come by and take me out of the group home and buy me things, and because they were my counselor, they had more authority. But they really weren't supposed to do that for liability reasons, as they like to say. Whenever they restrict your freedom, it's a liability. We're responsible for you. We're responsible for your safety. So there's a lot of that going on.
So Jim Allen is asking a question that I can't really read all of it. I realize you're a young guy, but we all need love. Something about a long relationship, girlfriend, your thoughts, and are you looking? So are you interested in getting a long-term relationship, a girlfriend?
That's never worked out for me. It's something I think about. It's something I've tried, but it always ends up in disaster. And I do have a difficult time trusting and bonding with another human being, especially when it comes to a romantic relationship. It becomes a serious problem in my life. That's a complicated one. But sometimes I feel like that's maybe not for me. But hopefully that works out. I would like to start a family at some point.
Okay, so I'm going to skip to the next question. I would like Carlos to think about something positive. Can he tell us what his favorite childhood memory was? And that's from Cat RN.
Oh, Cat RN. Thank you for adding some positivity. Boy, I must say that's a tricky one. I would say the positive times were when I was basically alone, left alone. Literally, if I was simply left alone, basically times that I was able to leave the house and just not be bothered. I would say when I was able to leave the group home and travel on a train to Oregon. That was my first experience of true freedom. I was totally on my own, and they didn't know that I was doing that. And yeah, I got onto an Amtrak train and brought my sketchbook with me. Drew portraits on the way for a little bit of money, and stopped at a few small towns along the way. It was real scenic. It was a bit of an adventure. It was quite an adventure.
So why were you going up to Oregon?
This was my second year of going to Jumpstart, I guess you can say it's an art camp, a pre-college visual arts experience. So yeah, for high school students, age 15 to 18, I believe it was, at Oregon State University. And I think Lee was there that particular time, but Lee didn't take the trip with me. Lee got a ride from one of the staff at the group home.
I wasn't in the group home at that time. I was in a shelter. That was Jim. Let's see. So that reminds me. When you're talking about freedom and stuff, Samia actually commented on the post rather than in the video, but she asked in that post, do foster kids run away?
Oh, right.
And how often?
Quite often, but the problem there is that they get in trouble. So if you run away and you come back, you're gonna come back to being in trouble, and you might stay in trouble for months. This is where your privileges get taken away. You can't go on outings. You know, you're grounded, and that's terrible. To be in the system and not be able to do enjoyable things.
Have you ran away from any of your placements?
I only ran away long enough that I wasn't caught. I would jump the fence at the shelter and say, okay, I ran away, and then before anyone noticed that I was gone, I would come back.
So Brian Moreno, when I was a senior in high school, I read a book about a foster kid. It would mention that some foster parents were terrible people, sociopathic / abusive. Did you see any of that / experience it? So I want to add to that. The book that he probably read was A Child Called It, right?
Well, that was the foster home. That was his real mom.
Okay.
A Child Called It.
But I just wanted to mention that because we stayed in the same group home he wrote about later on, right?
Yeah, the kid from A Child Called It was here from the Bay Area. And so that kind of hits home, the things he talked about and the places he went to. But yeah, there are a lot of foster parents that do become foster parents because they get a paycheck.
Oh, yes.
And the more, if they have multiple foster kids, they get multiple paychecks. So yeah, they're getting thousands of dollars of free money every month. And a lot of that money doesn't go to their foster kid. It goes to their trips and their car and their clothing and shoes and purses and things that the parent wants.
Or their own kids.
Right, that's right. If they already have their own kids, they get much better treatment.
So can you talk about if you've been in some foster homes and you've had people who've tried to foster you that you've gotten out of. So can you talk about your experience with bad foster parents?
I did mention this in one of the last interviews, but when I was 3, I was in a foster home where I was being neglected. And what I remember what was crazy about that is that my mom really cared about me. My mom wanted to see me and be with me, but the authorities thought that my mom was an unfit parent, so I was forced to be in this foster home. And I remember that they would not let me breathe. They would smother me, especially if I was crying. So I learned how not to cry. Um, I couldn't help it, crying. It wasn't something I had really had much control over. But if I did cry, they would put their big grown-up hand over my nose and mouth, and completely silence me instantly. And in order for me to be able to breathe again, I had to not make a sound. What was crazy about this was that my mom was right outside the door knocking to visit me, and that's when they didn't want me to make a sound. And somebody that cared about me was so close, but yeah, but I was being hidden.
Okay, so you guys are keep asking questions. The questions are going off the top. There's more to explore here. So because there was also that, another person who was a counselor named Jim was going to foster us. But let's talk about that later.
I did forget to kind of put some padding on this metal stool. Could you reach right behind you there and grab a shirt or something there? That's great.
Okay.
Excellent.
Well,
Thank
sorry. So I think it was Jim Allen. I can't read the name anymore because it rolled off the top. Dang it. What is the typical day in the life for you or for a foster kid who's around 17? And did it affect your art? And if so, please explain.
It really depends on your foster home or your group home or whatever institution you might be in.
Well, let's say for you, at 17, a typical day in your life.
When I was 17, I was switching placements maybe every 2 or 3 months. So I was either in a group home that had lots of restrictions, lots of structure, lots of rules, abusive staff, emotionally disturbed residents, housemates, other kids that I lived with. Some of them might be dangerous. At the children's shelter that I stayed at for maybe another 4 months while I was 17, that was more like a school that you could live at, and I think I enjoyed that place better. But that wasn't a permanent placement, and that wasn't a permanent placement for any of the people there. That was a temporary place to be at before they found either a foster home or a group home or went back to their families. But I think I enjoyed the shelter a whole lot more. They took it more seriously. The staff were more professional, and they had all sorts of resources there. If you liked art, they had an art studio. If you liked basketball, they had a basketball court. There was a school on site, and they also had cottages, quaint little cottages with maybe 20 rooms, and you had a roommate. And I guess that facility got more money than a foster home or a group home, and it just seemed more serious. The counselors were educated and professional. Yeah.
So
typical day in the life.
Yeah. When you were 17, where were you?
Many placements.
You were.
I also spent some time at a mental institution because one of the staff members at a group home that I was at called Safari House walked in on me because I was playing around with the idea of suicide. I was making a plan and thinking of how I would do it, and I was in the bathroom of that home, and we weren't allowed to lock the door of the bathroom, which I thought was a lot of BS. We can't lock the door. Why not? But yeah, I guess the the staff member, what is that what they would be called? Just a staff?
Yeah.
The staff member, he just simply opened the door because I guess maybe I was in there a little too long, and I was setting up a leather belt on the ceiling where there was a ventilation, what is it, a ventilation grate, a fixture for ventilation, and I was setting up a leather belt to possibly hang myself, and that was a pretty dramatic event. He took that very seriously, and it made him cry, and it was a really emotional experience that me and that staff member had. That was the last time I saw him, because he called 911 and had me taken away. So that was a sudden change in my life, that I didn't have my home anymore, and that was also a home that my best friend Lee was at. So that was another, that I wasn't, when I woke up that morning, I wasn't expecting to be sleeping in a mental institution that night. And I spent 3 weeks. First, I was 5150, which is where they take you away for your own protection for 72 hours. But during that 72 hours, they thought that I needed more help. So they 5250'd me. And I spent the next I spent the next 3 weeks or so in that hospital, and I just wanted to get the heck out of that hospital, because there was a lot of there was abusive staff members there. My roommate was smothered with a pillow until he was bleeding from his mouth and from his face. This was from one of the nurses there. And so I wanted to get the heck out of there, because there was no way to get out of that hospital unless they believed that you were ready. So I made sure to behave and be happy and be healthy, and finally, after 3 weeks, I was able to get the heck out of that place. It was driving me crazy being in there. It's like a jail. Yeah.
So I missed a few comments that rolled off. So if I missed comments, go ahead and ask them again. But keep in mind, you're rolling the ones off the top. Let's see. So the next question I see, Carlos, does it make you truly happy to help the homeless, or does it hit you hard throughout the day?
I wouldn't say I help the homeless. I tried as much as possible to be positive and nice to the homeless, show them respect, treat them like human beings. But it's hard to say what is helping the homeless and what is not helping. I think just simply being nice and respectful is some of the biggest help for the homeless. Treating them with integrity.
DW states, you have overcome so much in life and are an intelligent, kind, and articulate young man. I'm truly proud of you. What do you attribute to your strengths? How have you grown into the amazing person?
Thank you, DW. You're gonna get me to start tearing up, but I think I thrive when I'm by myself, which is a good and bad thing, and so I try to kind of dive into projects, woodworking, hand projects, creative projects, drawing, making things, fixing things. And I feel like that's kind of helped me throughout my life. I get to focus on one thing that makes me happy and makes other people happy. But I've also had, certain positive adults that happen to that I came across growing up, that gave me a sense of hope. That that there's a world out there that's beautiful, and you know, you just got to find it. It can be a challenge, but it's out there.
Crave Destruction asks, what's your opinion about cops?
Yeah, that's a tricky one, because when you just say cops, you know, ideally cops are supposed to protect and serve and enforce the law. But I feel like there's also a lot of, I guess, lack of accountability. If the police were held accountable for their wrongdoing, I would feel a whole lot more respect for law enforcement. But from what I've seen with my own eyes, that it's very difficult for an officer to get in any sort of trouble for some of the wrongdoing. So I think that, I guess you can call it corruption. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that the people that we depend on to enforce the law and protect us, they themselves are a lot of the time acting like criminals, engaging in criminal behavior, and it scares me. You know, I sometimes feel like when I walk down the street, like I might be, that not being afraid, but that I have more reason to worry from law enforcement than I do from some ordinary thug. You know, some ordinary thug, I can defend myself, I can run away, I can call the
Thank
cops.
you for sharing your stories, Carlos and Lee. You are both incredible. I hope the documentary is a success and lots of people get to hear your stories.
Wow, so we just got a donation from Nippy. Did you hear that? I just put the volume up towards the end.
Nippy yay!
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. You know, it's always good to have you here with us, Nippy yay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but back onto the police. You don't have a very good relationship with the police in general. Your feeling is pretty negative, right? Can you talk about sometimes?
I was saying, I feel like when it comes to criminals and thugs on the street, I have options. I can run away, defend myself, call the police. But when it comes to law enforcement, I'm completely powerless, and I'm aware that my life can change if some if some what is it, like some officer is having a power trip, or just feels like abusing his power. My life could change, and this is a human being that doesn't know me, but can have a huge impact on my life, and there's not much I can do about it. I have been, I've had guns pointed at me, I've been thrown on the ground and handcuffed, I've been mistreated, roughed up, I've been punched in the face, pushed, for no particular reason. That's really unfortunate.
DW, this is a question I missed. How long were you homeless? How did you get into housing?
I was on and off homeless. My first day of homelessness was when I was 18. I was homeless when I was 15, but at that time I had friends to go to. Stay with one friend or another, moving around from place to place. I was still homeless because I was still basically living out of my backpack, and not really having a place where I can settle down and think about my future. But when it really got serious was when I was 18, and there was nowhere for me to go that night. I had no one to call, nowhere to sleep, and I was completely on my own. And all I had with me was a couple of blankets and some paper and pen. I thought that having drawing stuff.
You sharing your story will help a lot if people love you and Lee.
Wow, that's Brenda Barnes. She donated $19.99 through Super Chat. Thank you, Brenda Barnes.
Brenda Barnes, always good to have you with us. Thank you for being here with us today. Yes.
So did you get into how you got out of being homeless?
I got out of being homeless through using the resources that are out there for the homeless. But a lot of them just simply don't want to put the work into it. It takes work. It's tough. Going through the programs that they offer is tricky. It's like putting yourself in a group home. But if you can make it through these residential treatment programs, you will move on to a nicer one where you get more freedom, and eventually you get to a point in these programs where you can finally start working, studying, going to school, and ultimately moving out on your own. But it takes at least a year or two.
So you were, when you were 18, you were homeless at first because you ran away from my foster home where you're staying with Jim, to San Francisco.
That's right. I figured if I'm gonna be homeless, I might as well be in San Francisco. There are more resources, and it's just kind of a beautiful place to be. It would be kind of hopeless and depressing to be anywhere else.
So what was your first night being homeless in San Francisco?
Well, I mean, I know I've told this story to the audience before, but my first night was scary. I didn't sleep one bit. I walked around looking for a place to curl up and go to sleep, but it was cold, windy, and scary. The people on the street in the middle of the night are all scary, and I just simply couldn't fall asleep. I also was having a hard time getting drowsy. But eventually I found myself a place that I thought was safe. It was the parking lot of a Walgreens in downtown, where there were cameras and it was lit up. And so I also didn't want to get too dirty. But anyway, I climbed up to the top of a garbage can, a dumpster, where I figured I would be out of sight and safe. And as I was lying up there in this safest place I could find, suddenly I heard a bunch of gunshots, and I stood and I stayed still. I did not want whoever was doing that shooting to know that I was there witnessing this. So I did not move an inch, because these gunshots were pretty close to me. I could tell that they were probably 10 or 15 feet away from me, and there were lots of them. It was maybe like 8 to 10 gunshots. Clearly somebody was probably being killed. So when the gunshots finally stopped, I went ahead and took a peek. My head was covered with a blanket at this time, and there was a fella there in the middle of the road who had been shot lots of times, and I saw one gunshot was clearly in his head. What was eerie about this was that while I was trying to go to sleep, this guy that had been shot, I saw him hanging around. He was the only one around. And so I remember him, pacing around and leaning up against the wall and just hanging out there. And yeah, now a couple minutes later, now he is dead. And of course I thought that I might also be killed just like him. So yeah, I didn't move until the police showed up. I thought it was strange the way the police behaved, though, the way the police were being so casual about everything. They were laughing and joking as if they were just hanging out, doing some other ordinary thing. And I thought I might have been useful to them because I was basically the only witness. And they weren't really too interested in what I had to say. It looked like clearly they weren't really going to follow up on this. They were just going to remove the body and call it a night.
So, Carlo Gambino is asking, have you ever thought about getting into tattoos and get a chair in the shop and make some good money?
Oh, I've done tattoos before.
Can you hold your hands up close to your face so we can see them?
Okay.
Yeah, you got some tattoos.
These are fading because these were my very first tattoos. This would be the right side up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a rest in peace with two little crosses here. These were actually my very first tattoos. I made the tattoo machine myself. This was while I was in the shelter when I was 15. Yeah, I made it myself because one of the staff there was an ex-prisoner, and
Carlos, you are an inspiration. Keep on looking up. God bless you.
Wow, DW donated $100 through Super Chat.
oh my gosh,
Whoa, that's crazy.
DW, thank you, and I really hope that the people that come across your life, that you help them. I really hope good things come from that, and I really expect they will. You seem like you have a big heart, and it's also great to have you here with us. You've been awesome.
Wow. It's always shocking when something like that happens.
Right.
My next order of business is to make any donation over $10 be extra special. Like have a GIF or something pop up instead of the normal just icon.
Yes, DW, thank you for that.
That's $100 hard-earned money, like $100.
Yeah.
It's always shocking to me, always shocking.
One time a viewer came up to us and in person, and that was pretty crazy too.
Yeah.
But yes, Carlo Gambino, excuse me. Yeah, when I was in the shelter, I used to do tattoos on some of my fellow friends. I was at the time I was also basically the best drawer that was there that they had known, and it kind of made me fit in better, putting tattoos on people. But eventually, I ended up getting in trouble for that, so I stopped doing tattooing on people because I am not licensed.
So we made some tattoo guns together and actually buried them in the backyard. You remember that?
That's right. I hid my tattoo equipment in the backyard of the group home so that I knew where it was, but the staff couldn't find it.
It might still be there.
It might still be there. Maybe it still works.
So Carlo Gambino, do you study religions, Taoism, Buddhism? Even Satanists have different sects, Levian, reaction, theistic. I know I like to study about Jesus, and yes, the Torah is a good read. What books do you like?
Oh.
So first of all, are you into religions and are you religious?
To me, all religions are kind of in the same category. It's something that other people do, but it's not something that I do. Yeah. Throughout my life, people have tried to, take me under their wing and introduce me to their particular God, and it's nice of them to care, but deep down, I never quite connected with their faith.
What books do you like?
I like fiction, fantasy. See, there's The Night Circus. That's one that I enjoyed quite a bit. I think I might buy that and read it again. Yeah, it's hard for me to come up with, because lately reading has only been something that I've done when there was literally nothing else to do. I don't spend my time reading when I can work with my hands, or read stuff on the internet, or watch stuff on the internet.
learn stuff, right?
Yeah, learning through videos or just surfing the web and reading forums. And, so yeah, a lot of the reading that I do is through the computer screen. But yeah, I would say yeah, fiction. Something like The Night Circus. That would be the book that fits me the most.
I think this is Edwin. It's hard for me to read his name. What are your thoughts about the homeless and drug problems in the city that the city is currently having? With your experiences, how could the city handle this? So, first, what's your thoughts about the overall homelessness and drug issues here in San Francisco? In fact, let's add mental illness on top.
I would say it doesn't help to treat drug addicts as if they are criminals. So yeah, going to jail for possessing a certain drug or being under the influence of a certain drug, I think doesn't no good really seems to come from that. So I think treating it more like a health issue as opposed to a criminal issue. I can understand if you're producing and selling, introducing drugs to the community, that I can understand that, that's pretty destructive. But as far as using and abusing drugs, no need to treat that like a criminal issue.
So how do you think they could handle it? Handle the homelessness and drug addiction and mental illness that's on the streets?
It seems like if it's going to happen anyway, then provide them with the resources to be in a safe place. Provide help them out with what they need: a bathroom, a roof over their heads. I think that's really a lot of what a lot of drug addicts. That's really what they need to be able to get off of drugs. A lot of them say, if I can only settle down and just have a roof over my head and a kitchen and a bathroom for me to live a normal life, I can finally start to think about going through that challenging process of getting clean. Getting clean is a really tough process. And that's what's helped me is being in programs that are offering you resources for your health and your life. Instead of punishments.
But you slip back into addiction when you still had a house and a kitchen and a place that's all your own. It really took another person to help you out in that instance, right?
That's a need that us humans have. We need at least another person there that cares about us, or else we feel completely alone and lost in the world and without a purpose. We have to have a sense of purpose, even if it's for one other person or maybe even a pet, an animal.
Jim Allen has asked, do you cook and do you have a favorite food?
Ooh, interesting. I basically follow recipes. Other than that, I'll cook simple meals, spaghetti, sandwiches, hamburgers. But yeah, I do like to follow recipes. I've made pies and, stews and soups. But yeah, I mean, I cook more for I guess what you might call the utility of it, just to get nutrients into my body, not so much for, experimenting with flavors.
What are some of your favorite foods?
That's a tricky one. I mean, I enjoy, barbecue and basically Thanksgiving dinner. Stuffing, mashed potatoes. Thanksgiving dinner seems to be the ideal feast.
Flan is something you love?
Yeah, I do enjoy a good egg custard. That's basically what flan is, right?
Yeah.
So, egg custard of different sorts, whether it be the Chinatown little pies or the egg custard that we make here in the U.S. or flan from Mexico, I think.
You like flan? You like watermelon?
I sure do like watermelon, but it's hard. It's hard for me to find a good one. Yeah, I love fruit.
And you're looking for the perfect chile relleno.
Chili relleno. That's a tricky one to find, and it's overpriced. And when I do buy it, it's kind of disappointing. So I should probably learn how to make my own. I do like cheesy things. I enjoy cheese.
So, Rizze, Yahoo, what's up, guys? How are you? Just got on. What am I missing? Well, it's the interview. So I'm a little bit behind in the comments because I'm trying to give Carlos space to answer them.
Rizze 1.
Yeah. DW said you deserve that and gave a heart about the $100 donation.
Oh.
So,
That's unbelievable, DW.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you. But as an aside, people, when you're donating, please use the Streamlabs instead of the Super Chat, because Google takes a big old hunk of that. Okay, so DW, what? Oh, and Eugene River says, hi Carlos. DW, what are your dreams for your life in the next year?
Hi, Dean.
Or DW. It's DW again.
But Dean didn't say hello.
No, Eugene River.
Oh, Eugene. Hello,
Yeah.
Eugene.
Yeah, what are your dreams for your life in the next year?
Oh, well, I talked about mine. I hope to travel the U.S. on my bicycle. I'm planning and packing and getting my supplies ready to get onto my bike and head on out hundreds, if not thousands of miles before I make it back home. Probably in a triangle. The current plan is to head on up to Oregon and then possibly to Yosemite, or is it Yellowstone?
Yosemite.
Yes, see the national parks in Yosemite, and possibly the giant sequoias before I come back to San Francisco.
I think the giant sequoias are too far down. I think it's Lake Tahoe that you'd go to.
Oh, the giant sequoias are so close to Lake Tahoe. I mean, not super close, but I mean, it would be just another little J curve of biking. Yeah.
So, and what about 5 years?
Oh boy.
You'd be 40, right?
I would be 40. Yeah. I always find that, like they say that life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. That seems to be my experience. The plans that I make never seem to go through, but other exciting stuff happens. So I just simply hope to be healthy and have positive relationships. And, that's basically all I can ask for. Nothing too extravagant.
What about 20 years from now?
Again, I hope I'm alive.
You have accomplished much, and I believe you can achieve what you believe. That's a heart. That's from DW. Let's see. James Durkin. James Durkin, what's up?
James Durkin, welcome to my place.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're probably not too far away. But,
Yeah.
Thanks for coming tonight. It's good to have you here, James.
What's up, guys? I'm looking forward instead of backward. I'm going to try to go to CCSF in spring 2020. What, if any, goals are you working on?
Is this from James?
Yeah.
I just want to point out that James Durkin is somebody that we met on the street who was homeless and trying to step his way up the ladder to finally have his own place, and he has been an inspiration. He's been doing awesome.
He was really not in a good mood. I mean, not in a good place. He felt kind of hopeless when we met him.
Yeah, I didn't think it was looking too bright.
Yeah, I thought he's not going to be.
And every time we see James Durkin, he is just doing better and better. So anyway, keep it up there, James.
Yeah, that was really cool to see him doing better every time I saw him. So, So, what goals are you working on? So, I guess there's your bike. The biggest thing is your bike tour.
Right, and yeah, I hope to not to not have any issues with substances.
You want to be clean. You want to quit smoking before you go on your bike tour.
That's right. I'm currently smoking cigarettes, and I am hoping and wishing that when I am on that bike tour, I am not smoking those cigarettes. It can be done, but gosh, it's such a hurdle. I mean, I've quit before, but yeah, it's a tough few weeks.
So, and then he said both of you guys. So for me, my goal is to get this documentary made. So this may take a long time. I mean, even just for Carlos, I haven't told my story yet. I haven't had any of my stuff recorded, and a lot of our lives are parallel. And then there's other people, and then I would like to talk to people who are on the other side, people who work in the foster care system. So that would be my close goal. Although I have to say, I really, really, really have been obsessing about bikes as well, and kind of wish I could go on a tour.
We sure have.
I've been scolded by my wife for being on the phone too long. She said it's honestly ridiculous.
Sorry, BA, if you're watching, I know, I will try to keep it shorter.
So, but anyhow, my goal would be to make this made. So it's probably a long-term thing. I mean, we're getting Carlos done, but that's only just one little piece of the puzzle. I may have to spin this off into a little documentary about Carlos because there's so much there. So let me flip this back around.
You know, if you only use 20 minutes or so of everything, hopefully you can extract, the real key moments. It may just be a whole bunch of documentary fodder of, just a bunch of information, but, that would be nice. And if you can get other people's experiences. It's such a complicated system.
NJ.
My brothers, Catalina and I thank you for this live stream, and a special thanks to Carlos for sharing his life experiences, good and bad. I hope that others find the courage to share their experiences with y'all via social media.
I didn't know you were here, NJ89er. Did we know he was here?
No, he in the very beginning he was here, but he's been kind of silent.
NJ89er, my brothers.
Yeah, he donated $60.
And Catalina.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, it's so great to have all of you guys here. I was hoping that everyone would be here. Gambino, Cat RN, and NJ89er. I mean, so many of the great folks that are with us are here today. That's great.
Before it rolls off the screen, Nipier asks, Carlos, how did you and Lee meet? Do you have any other friends in the foster care system? And do you think there are reasons why you and Lee have kept close over the years?
Lee and I kept each other kind of supported.
Well, how did we meet?
Well, you were already at Star House, which is a pretty major group home of San Jose. It's been there for a long, long time.
I was just trying to say it again without saying you. How did you and Lee meet?
Well, yeah, Lee and I, we met at a group home called Star House. This was back in the year 2000. Is that right? We just simply got along great. We were pulled apart because I had to wait. Was it Lee that left first? I don't remember now. I think Lee left first, and so I was left without my friend. But dang it, fate stepped in, and maybe about a year later, I see I get placed into a new group home, and who happens to be there? Lee. He was there. That's when I knew that I wanted to stay in that group home. I wasn't so happy about moving, but when I saw that my friend Lee was there, I thought, yes, I made it. I hit the jackpot. This is my group home. I am not going to sabotage this one. And yeah, that was a rough place to be at, but luckily, gosh, Lee was hilarious. My gosh, some of the most painful laughter that I can remember was because of things that Lee said or did. So yeah, we met in the year 2000 in the group homes.
Yeah, I think it was actually September So it's we're approaching the 20-year mark, right?
September of the year 2000.
Yeah. So next year we would have known each other for 20 years.
Yes, Lee used to be a chubby little guy.
I was hefty.
Lee was chubby, and he was also a kid during that time.
Had a high-pitched voice.
You had a high-pitched voice. Oh my gosh, you did. And let's see. Okay, you were chubby. You were shorter than me. You were a kid. I was a couple of years older than you, so I was much more of a role model.
You were in high school and I was in middle school.
Yes, he was a middle school kid, and yeah, I was in high school, and yeah, I remember Lee. You know, he had his action figures, and they got taken away. We didn't appreciate that.
To this day, I'm still sad about that.
How dare they? How dare they?
Yeah.
Why would they take away your action figures?
Yeah. He
Anyway.
said I wasn't a kid anymore, and they took him away. So let's see. And how? Why do you think we kept close over the years? I was just trying to read the last question there.
You have to put work into your relationships, even when it's not so easy, you know. And I think we both saw value in putting work into keeping the relationship alive. And we also have a lot in common. Our interests overlap quite a bit, and people tell us that we talk like each other, we sound like each other. There were times that Lee and I would be on the phone at the same time talking to somebody else, and we would be finishing each other's sentences, and this person on the other end didn't even realize that there were two people there, because we were so in sync with our ideas.
Well, what do you think about the force of gentrification in San Francisco?
It's change. What can you do? Change is inevitable. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, things are one way and then they no longer are that way. It's just inevitable.
But I mean, look, if it wasn't for gentrification, this would still be Mexico, right? I mean, that's just the forces of change.
You know, every decade, the city is not what it was a decade ago.
Damn it. I wrote before about this camera. It's got basically a limit. After about 74 minutes, it corrupts the entire file. That just happened right now.
Oh, okay, so you caught it though.
No,
It happened a while ago.
it just happened right now.
Okay.
So
But you didn't save it?
yeah, but it's a very involved process. Oops. So I'm recording again. Sorry while I get things set up. So that's sucky. And yeah. So now I have another corrupt file to deal with. Let's see. Dang it. Also, will you guys be getting back into weekly street vlogs? Also, do you guys ride motorcycles or ever have? So we have been doing weekly vlogs.
That's right.
YouTube is, for whatever reason, they are not recommending my stuff. I've been kind of blackballed by them. My subscribers regularly complain that they don't get notified when I'm live, and that they're subscribed, they click all the notifications, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, I have 22,000 subscribers, and my videos hardly ever get over 1,000 views, but that's how it goes. But so neither of us ride motorcycles. Neither of us have driver's licenses.
Yeah, we've never driven.
No, we have bicycles.
I've never been interested in driving.
Yeah.
Even if somebody gave me a car for free, I'd probably just turn around and sell it.
Dang it. So, Rock, I can't read your name over on Twitch, Rock-a-Doodle Dude. What advice would you give to people in the foster care system? Sorry, I missed some questions that rolled off the top.
Be strong. There's a lot of future ahead of you. it gets better. This will end, but hopefully, not everyone has a terrible experience. Some people are fortunate and they luck out with a great placement. And if that's the case, then keep that placement, because you just never know what you might get next.
And you guys are fantastic. I have to turn in, I guess she's saying. I can't read the rest of the comment because it's obscured. So bye, Julieta. Let's see, DW, I wish you both the best of luck with the documentary. You are absolutely amazing. I hope to adopt by the end of the year, so I hope we can stay in touch and you can share wisdom. I appreciate you sharing your experiences with us. Thank you. Heart. That's from DW.
DW is going to call it a night?
Yeah.
Is it Miami? Is that right?
I think so. I kind of lost track.
But thank you for joining us, and thank you for your donation. And I hope to see you in the chat the next stream next month, or next week, that is.
And then also let's see, Jim Allen, Carlos, being active as you are, how many hours of sleep do you need?
Ooh, I have a rough time with sleep. There are many times that I am up all night. Yeah, I mean an ordinary amount, just like any other person. I would consider 7 or 8 hours a nice, proper, good night's sleep. But I could always improve my habits, cut back on the coffee, turn off the computer at night. Things like that. Don't eat a bunch of sweets at night. So, yeah, I'm always working on that. I don't always do it.
So cringing and Gween, I think that, I don't know if someone already asked, but what's the best thing people can do to effectively help the homeless?
Boy, I think that's too general. Each homeless person is an individual with an individual case. Overall, helping the homeless. Possibly, I know they don't appreciate it much, but offering some food.
Well, it's something to keep in mind is 95% of the homeless people are addicts.
Oh, right.
So I think that's the first thing that you would have to take care of.
Only 95?
That's the official statistic.
It seems like it's rare to find a homeless person who's not abusing substances.
95 is a pretty high percentage. It's probably 99, and there's like 4% lying, but still, the overwhelming majority. If you see somebody who's chronically homeless, it's pretty safe to assume that they are an addict. So
once substance abuse starts, there's really not much hope.
You got to take care of that first.
That's true. Yeah.
Nothing you do will matter. So I'm sorry, because this is a question for you, and it's you being interviewed. But I just thought
that's an excellent point. But there's nothing. She's saying, what can a person do? That would be the individual homeless person that needs to get off of those substances.
Yeah. Well, you could help them. I helped you. It was you who got clean, but I helped you as best as I could.
It was either you can keep using, and not have a friend anymore, or have a friend as long as you quit using.
So do you feel like having consequences helps somebody to quit? Having people feel like they had something to lose?
I think it's not to sound too hippie like, but love. If you have a loved one and you don't want to disappoint them, you don't want to lose them, that really musters up the strength that you need to push forward through that difficulty of getting off substances. You know, being afraid of something, being scared, being intimidated, those things just, they don't seem to work. People can go in and out of jail. You know, people can have all sorts of nasty things happen to them on the streets, and that's only more reason for them to keep using.
So, dang it. Some of the comments, I think Brenda Barnes said she also hasn't been getting notifications. It sucks. And I can't really read half of the comment. But having no license is the real SF Kid experience. I think that was from NJ89er. The comment literally, I was only reading the bottom parts of
NJ89er, right? It's kind of a hassle to have a car here in the city. I mean, it would make a lot of sense outside of the city, but here everything's so congested. There's tickets. There's hard to find parking. You know, it's not easy to have a car here in the city.
James Durkin, I love riding bikes too. We should go for a bike ride sometimes. Show me around.
You finally got a bike, James? I remember last time we actually hung out in person, you said, I want to get a bike. I remember that. So I'm glad you finally got your bike.
Yeah, I did the Wiggle once. Lol, it was great. I rode mostly where I'm from in Florida. Riz1, I haven't gotten any notifications from YouTube. I can't read a lot of that comment. What times and days should I look out for it? So it's Saturday. But the times we're trying to nail in is probably going to be Saturday evenings.
Around sundown, around dusk.
Damn it, YouTube. Correct. Yes, damn it. Homeless people are imported into SF. It's true, there's a lot of homeless people that are not from San Francisco.
They're sent here because this is supposedly where they're going to find help.
How is your working out going, Carlos? Any cardio, weights, etc.? Asked Carlo Gambino.
Gosh, Carlo, I weighed myself yesterday and I lost 15 pounds. You know, I think I've been sort of manic, thinking of all these different things to do and different projects that I haven't really been eating the way I should. But yeah, I better work on that gaining weight thing. Most people want to lose weight, but I gotta gain weight.
Okay, James Durkin. Also, I heard that you aren't into religiousness. Me neither. I found something that really helped me with a lot of stuff, including slowly killing myself by smoking cigarettes. Just life and more life.
Is that a positive thing?
Yeah. Well, I'm just reading what's up here. Cringing and Gween. After watching these videos, I'm not surprised that individual help is the answer. Thanks for the info, guys. Brax Tax Legit. Lee, your last 2 streams you have not announced on Twitter that you are streaming. Could you please post to Twitter before you do a live stream from now on? Okay. I will try to post it on Twitter. You know, I only have a few followers on Twitter. So, by the way, people, if you want to get those announcements, follow me on Twitter and I will try to post on Twitter. It's been difficult because every time I plan something, it feels like I've been kind of undermined or there's some obstacle that gets in the way. So I kind of avoided planning, and I'd rather surprise people with unexpected stream than to be late to a stream that I planned. But that's been happening every time. So I will try to do better. I will try to lock into a schedule, and I will pre-announce it on Twitter. However, I think every time I stream, Restream sends something out on Twitter saying that I'm streaming. Anonymous Tax Legit is now following. So I guess I got a new follower on Twitch. Thank you.
He is legit anonymous.
Okay, so James Durkin says no bike yet.
Oh, James, dang it.
And Brass Tax Legit. Thank you, Lee. That's over on Twitch. NJ89er. Exactly, Carlos. I don't drive at all. That hassle is real. cousin had 2 cars towed for parking on Harrison the other day and began setting up for Carnival 4 years ago. Oh, they began setting up for Carnival 4 years ago. Expensive lesson he learned.
Yeah, my friend lost his nice car because his bumper was in somebody's driveway, and he went over to the auto return, and my gosh, he had to pay $500 to get his car out, which he didn't have at the time. But every day that went by was like another $50. So eventually he had to just give up. He just lost his car because his bumper was in somebody's driveway. Yeah. Sounds terrible.
Wheeler Cliff asks, Carlos, that night after the hospital visit with Lee, you were so emotional. What was going through your mind that night?
That was the night that I made a commitment to stay away from drugs, and drugs were my best friend, and I was making a commitment to let them go. And what the reality of that was going to mean, life was going to be different. I knew that life was going to be better, but I didn't really feel how. There was no hope. You know, to me, drugs was what gave me a sense of hope, that something was always there to make me feel better. So to let go of my best friend, sort of, you know, it was an emotional experience, and to promise that to Lee, you know, I've said sure, I promised before, but this time I had to honestly promise. And that was you know, that was a real challenge, and it's something that I work on every day, and I'm grateful for that particular day, because you know, every day I'm a better, healthier person since that time.
And so we've actually gotten to the bottom of the questions, it looks like. Hold on, let me switch to a closer angle. Let's see, so I guess James was talking about car thieves. You've never had any car stolen, obviously, but what about bikes getting stolen?
Sure. Yeah, I've had a few bikes gotten stolen. The last time I bought a nice bike, I only had it for a couple of months. You know, it was the first time I bought a really nice bike. It was, you know, it was around $1,200 or $1,300 for this bike, and I loved it. It was awesome, and I left it on 5th and Market. I was only gonna run into the mall real quick and run back out, and I had locked it up. And dang it, it wasn't there when I got it back out. I had just missed that thief, you know.
So actually, I was looking at your lock and cord, and you said that lock was the lock that I recommended to you. That was a long time ago. How do you still have that lock, but you missed that bike?
Is that right?
That's what you said. You said that was the lock I recommended to you, and that would have been like 10 plus years ago.
Oh, wow. Maybe that's not the same lock.
Yeah, it's probably a different lock then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did buy that lock. But yeah, it is 10 years old.
So
because that time that you're talking about was more than 10 years ago. I did buy another bike after that.
So there's some more question. Cringing and Gween, I hear some European countries force their addicts to stay in government-funded rehabs to get clean. Do you think America should adopt this practice, or would it be more problematic than what's happening now?
Right. Yeah. Forcing them to get clean. Something tells me that they are looking forward to being released so that they can go ahead and start using again. That sounds like a punishment. I'm not sure how effective that would be if they're not motivated themselves.
It is kind of like jail, right? You get locked up and you're forced to be clean in jail, and when you leave jail, you're clean for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what kind of experience they're having there. Maybe a lot of those folks go there voluntarily if it's a positive place to be. But something tells me that it's a nasty place to be.
So let's just imagine. Let's say you were here in your house or whatever. You were struggling with addiction. They came and they grabbed you out of your house, and they restrained you, and they took you into an institution, and you're forced to be clean, and you're forced to go into group counseling, and you're forced to go to individual counseling.
That's similar to jail, where you don't have access to the drugs you want. But I imagine that they smuggle drugs just like they would in prisons. So they probably do have access, even while they're in that program.
But unlike jail, what if there was a therapeutic approach while you're inside that place, even though you're in against your will?
But everything is against your will.
Yeah. But you're still talking to therapists and counselors and stuff, or to psychologists.
It seems like the authorities are more interested in keeping up appearances, you know. So the therapists might be more concerned with what's on paper and making it look like they're making a difference instead of actually, working one-on-one with an individual, which is the real work. I'm not sure.
Okay, so Alan Acuna says, "Sup, Carlos?"
Sup, Alan?
Jim Allen says, "Carlos, living in San Francisco, are you a spontaneous person?"
Oh boy, yes. I am spontaneous, reckless even. I would say so.
How are you spontaneous?
Well, I mean, one time I left my house and, decided to walk 50 miles down El Camino, the path that the Spaniards took when they first came to California. I go on very long walks. I have gone on 50-mile walks, 20-mile walks, 30-mile walks. But yes, I like to have the room to be spontaneous. I don't have really all that much structure that I adhere to. So if somebody says, "Hey, you want to go to Las Vegas?" I'll say, "Yes, let's go." I've done that sort of thing before.
It's funny. I'm kind of the opposite. I had a model ask me if I wanted to go to LA with her. I had never met this model, but still, it was a 6-foot tall model was asking. I think she was 6'2". She was asking me to go to LA with her, and I was like, "Oh boy." I ended up saying no. Yeah.
I would say, all right, let's head on over. Let me just grab my keys.
Yeah. I was in I didn't have much money.
Right.
And I was working at Sega, but I didn't have much money at the time. And actually, while she was on the phone asking me, I got fired from Sega.
A few years back, I was on a walk, just walking around the city, and I was walking by the Greyhound station, and I went ahead and hopped on the Greyhound and bought a ticket to Los Angeles and spent the next week all over LA. And while I was down there, I got myself a new bike, a new watch, and I also didn't have very much money at that time. I didn't have much money when I left. I only had maybe around $200 in the bank, and rent was due in a couple weeks. But I don't know, I felt like it was something I had to do. But when I got down there, I noticed that I had $9,000 in the bank, that there was a glitch in the system, and I had an extra $9,000 in my bank to spare. Eventually, they caught that mistake, and I had to pay it all back, by the way.
Yeah. So, let's see. I am asked, "Lee, do you smoke weed or ever attempt it?" So, no, I don't smoke weed. I've smoked weed before. My first time smoking weed was inside a group home, actually. It was in Swerp after Carlos left. My second time smoking weed was inside of the children's shelter. Actually, no, we ran away from the children's shelter and smoked weed over there. And then the third time was actually, I was homeless, basically. I was 18. I had all my stuff thrown in trash bags and was dumped outside of the Larkin Street Youth Shelter. And so I went over and hung out at Carlos's place for a little bit. Carlos, he was dating somebody at the time, his girlfriend named Kim, and she had a friend visiting, and I forget her name, Jennifer, something like that. And I went and we actually went on a double date, kind of, over at Kim's place. They went and were smoking weed, and it was known that I don't smoke weed, but I went ahead and tried to show him how a man would take a big puff of weed. And there was a big old green nug that they covered with tar, and I completely exhaled and inflated my lungs with smoke and held it for about 2 minutes while I was like holding back, coughing and wheezing and gagging. And then I blew it all out and was just hacking and coughing. And they brought over a trash can because I thought that I was gonna throw up. Eventually I just laid back and just like got tunnel vision, everything around with like as I was laying back, and then I sat up and then I started talking, and I was incredibly annoying. But I was pretty annoying.
I don't think so.
Carlos says no.
You were stoned. You expect people to be weird. I think you were self-conscious about being annoying, and you thought you were being very, very annoying, and you were asking people.
I remember the girl's name was Michelle.
Okay, Michelle. You kept asking us if you were annoying. I mean, that was annoying, the fact that you kept asking us. But other than that, you were not particularly annoying.
Michelle was pretty upset. Michelle was interested in getting busy with me, I guess. And
yeah, she wanted to have a little romance going on.
Yeah. But anyhow, for the most part, though, I've avoided doing drugs because I value my brain. I view it to be my greatest asset, or one of my greatest assets. And I've tried to avoid doing anything that would harm my brain. That being said, I barely ever sleep, and I really feel like that's affecting me.
Yeah. I must say, that was I think the only time that I've seen you stoned.
Yeah.
Right? So that was interesting.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you drunk once. Is that right?
We drank over at Jim's place.
We drank and we smoked weed, and those were things that you and I only did together one time.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Nice to have that under our belts, and no need to get to it again.
So anyhow, James Durkin, I found Sadhguru on YouTube February 2018, and it changed my life for the better. I'm not addicted to cigarettes anymore, and I recently did inner engineering online. It may work for you too. So it sounds like some meditation.
Sadhguru?
Yeah. Carlos, have ever been to a wild party that just shouldn't have existed?
Oh yeah, that was my first year at the Academy of Art. The Academy of Art is going to have some weird parties, and this was also my first time drinking.
Well, you drank before when we were over at Jim's place. You were still a minor.
Is that right?
Yeah. It was actually, it was pretty crazy. You were bleeding all over the place too.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
At Jim's, over at Hayward.
Right. I I don't think I was still a minor during that time.
Yeah, you were. You were, because we would have been over in Sacramento, and you drank before that on New Year's.
I think I had
Over in-
already gone to the Academy of Art during those times. I had already been a student at the Academy.
Okay, but
because
anyhow,
I remember specifically during that party that I had never drank. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna drink. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be weird. What's this gonna be like? I remember having that kind of experience. And yeah, it was a weird party. They had these weird psychedelic displays. And there were porno pages all over the ground, all over the floor in this apartment. And there were all these weird artistic people that were doing weird things. And we were allowed to draw and write all over the walls. There were mannequins that were all over this apartment, this party. It was just weird. Oh man. And then we all got out and we walked around on the beach and made a huge fire. And again, people there were being weird. So it was hard to describe. It was very surreal.
And you passed out from drinking by the fire and got burned, right?
Yeah, I had my feet very close to the bonfire, and my shoes were starting to catch on fire. The rubber was melting and burning, and I sort of didn't care because it felt toasty on my feet. But then eventually I realized that my feet were starting to catch on fire. They were smoking.
And actually, this is how I know that Academy of Art event was before when you drank over at Hayward and started bleeding like crazy. Because when you were drinking, you got really drunk, and then you started crying. You broke down and you were crying, and you were saying you got beat up. That two guys had beat you up when you had been drinking over at that party. And you forgot about it until you got drunk again.
Oh man. Oh, that's what happens when you drink. You black out and forget things. Oh man.
Do you remember that event? Do you remember those two guys beating you up? Or do you remember thinking about that?
Yeah, that's a vague memory. I would have. I mean, I would have to think a little harder. I don't think I can really recall it right now.
Okay, let's see, what are both of your guys' favorite part of the city and why? So I'll start with you, Carlos.
Well, I like the Presidio. It's basically the only kind of foresty area in the city, and everything else is too congested, too overpopulated, too much traffic, too many homeless people. You can escape all that out there in the Presidio and feel like you're far from home. And yeah, it's pretty.
Hold on.
Baker Beach is also nearby, so you can walk along. I think it's called Sea Cliff, where there's a nice trail that is just along the coast, and there's the Golden Gate Bridge there, and the ocean, and the forest right behind you. So that's a nice little gem of the city.
Okay, and then for me, I guess my favorite parts of the city would be along the coast. That's what makes it the most unique. So I like to be over by the ocean. I like to be over by the piers. I like the sereneness and the stillness of being by the bay, but I also like being over at the ocean, and when you're there at night and it's dark and there's no one around and the fog is rolling in. It's a really cool place to be alone, and just to be alone with your thoughts, or just to be with just one other person. Been with them.
There's also certain hills where you go up really high up and just have a 360 of the city and the ocean. And there have been times that I go to these certain points in the city, really high up, that it's just so beautiful, especially during sunset, that I just feel like a rich person, thinking to myself, I am so fortunate to have this as my home. But I can't really recall exactly which point that is, but one of the peaks of the hills here.
DW says, you both have such amazing strength. When will you have the next Q&A? I would love to attend or hear more of your stories. I will prepare some good questions as well. Thank you both again. I don't know. I like to mix things up. I mean, we could do this again next week. Should we do a part 2 next week? Or
we could be at one of these scenic places like they're asking. We could go to a cliff, right?
Oh, we couldn't bring all this stuff. It needs to be plugged in.
But this is for the script, for the Lee's channel.
For the stream. Well, the truth is that every stream is essentially a Q&A.
That's right.
Every stream. This one is specifically being recorded on some high-end 4K cameras that could later be edited and look quite nice. But any stream, they could ask any random question, and they do sometimes. So.
And I would say that we do try to open up.
Yeah.
And be open and honest and really take the questions very seriously.
Okay. Oh, I missed some comments. Is this being filmed now in a small studio in San Francisco? I'm from New Jersey, and I heard that it's very expensive to rent studio space in SF. So, well, this is Carlos's apartment, and I kind of just showed it before. This is his living space. That there is a fireplace. That there is his bed with a cat on it.
There's the cat.
Yeah, it's been sleeping quite nicely, which is good because she has a habit of bonking into stuff.
And being noisy when she's not getting attention.
Yeah, and with filming with these 4K cameras, it actually detects individual strands of hair floating through the air.
Right.
So, yeah.
What am I doing with the cat hair? Am I okay?
I think it's we'll fix it in post.
I believe you.
Let's see. Jerome. Oh, hold on. Jerome Jason Burris. Does a Carlos have a relationship with the Lord?
A relationship with the Lord? Well, if the Lord is out there, I hope he thinks I'm a fine young man, because I try to conduct myself the way the Lord would like. But I particularly haven't met the Lord. Yeah.
Very nice. Jim Allen. Carlos, how long has it been since you enjoyed a movie at a movie theater, and what movie?
Gosh, I've been disappointed with movie theaters lately. Movie theaters, huh? Well, I do enjoy going to some of these kind of old-timey movie theaters here in the city, the ones that, look like they're from 1940. And sometimes for $1 or $2, you can buy a ticket to watch a movie that's been out for many years. And I think that's fun, and instead of watching a movie on your screen here, you can enjoy it with people from the public at this old-timey movie theater. I think it was Elf or Nightmare Before Christmas. It was both of those movies back to back, and I think we paid like $5 for a ticket. This was at the Castro Theater. And also, you can just sit there and stay and watch whatever comes on next. So, I like that.
Carlo Gambino asks, what is your rent for the month?
Oh, well, this flat here, this is a 5-bedroom flat. Originally, this was one Victorian house, but it's been converted into 3 separate apartments, and each apartment has been converted into 5 separate units, and each unit is rented out by one individual. So that's city life for you. But yeah, the rent for this flat is $4,500, $4,500, and my portion of that rent is just under $1,000 a month to rent this little space here. So I've been living here for nearly 10 years, and I like it. I feel like I've lucked out. It's my own room. That's it. That's big, to have your own room and not have to share it with some other person. It's great. I have a bay window. I have a fireplace. I have plenty of space to work in. This is my little office section. Back there, I have room to do whatever the heck I want. I've had a full-blown garden back there. You can still see some of the evidence of growing. But yeah, that little corner there was filled with greenery. I have pictures, which I think I can share with the audience at some point.
Well, you could make your Facebook public, Put a link there in the comment section maybe, and...
it is public. If somebody sends me a friend request, I'll just confirm it.
How are they going to find you?
Well, they know my first and last name, don't they?
How many Carlos Gallardos are there out there?
Many.
Yeah, I know this.
So what
Millions.
So then what?
I think you got to go into your Facebook and copy and paste your address.
Okay, and then what?
Then put it in the comment section, and then people can friend request you.
Okay.
And then you could have all your pictures there and all your artwork and your garden, and I don't know if other people are interested in other stuff inside your house. I'm just trying to show the other angle that they couldn't see.
I like how this, I walk out of my door and it's the city noise, the restaurants, the bars, the public transportation. It's just right outside.
Mm-hmm.
I love the city, so it's nice to be in this prime location.
So James Durkin, yes, I love the natural areas too. I don't like people too much anymore. I love nature. Let's see, the ride dog. I like when a giant hits a home run into the water.
And the kayakers go chasing after it? Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Jerome Jason Burris, nice. Cringing and Gween, that's a nice place, Carlos. Small, but looks very cozy.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's probably the best place I've ever had. I've always had some other situation where I'm sharing a room or...
Well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, you've known where I've lived. It's either been a transitional living program or I've shared a room. I've rented out basically a couch in somebody's bedroom or living room, that is, where another person was also staying in that same space. Everything's expensive.
Let's see, nice, okay, Quinjing and Green, 5 bedrooms, that's a great flat. So I think we should clarify that this is like a Victorian house. It is not a flat as in like an apartment. Because, a flat is interchangeable with an apartment over in in Europe. You'd say a flat rather than an apartment.
That's what they call it on our rental agreement. This is one house, one building that I guess originally was one giant house, right? It's a 2-story house, and so the bottom level is a whole separate unit that is rented out by some other folks, and we when we open our door, we have stairs right away that send us up to the top floor, and that's what we rent for $4,500 a month.
Yeah, Cringing and Gween says, okay, understand about the quote-quote flat now.
Cringing, what's really cool about a group of folks sharing one space is that we get a backyard, we get a deck, we get a nice big kitchen. So it's better than an individual renting out a little studio where they don't get any of that and they're still basically paying the same amount. So if you guys can gather a group of friends together to rent out an entire house, that might be the thing to do.
All right. Hold on. Let me see if I could do this. Hold on. Woo.
The gimbal's going crazy.
No, it's not. Carlo Gambino's got a comment for you. Can you read that?
Not really. Can you read it for me?
Well, it's in Spanish.
Let me see here. Where is it? Oh yeah. Loving the wood floors, nice and uniform. Tu habitación es chévere, carnal. Güey, muy guay. Muy guay? 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 Guay?
All right. Well,
Gracias, Carlos. Hablas español muy bien.
okay. Wow, this is funny. That's great and convenient. Okay. Yeah, Jerome. That's great and convenient. I used to live in SF, but now in South San Francisco. I miss the city sounds in the morning. I guess fruit stands, all the people. You are fortunate. Kay Lee. So do you like the Zante pizza or no?
Oh my gosh. That's an interesting. That's like an inside joke for me and Lee. I know those folks. I know who they are, and I've spent a lot of time at Zante's. Yeah, Zante's is one of my favorite pizzas in the city, and I'm quite familiar with that restaurant. Very familiar. I've spent a lot of time there, and like I said, I know the people that work there, and they might even watch this, and they'll think it's funny that they got a little shout out for Zante's. Yep, Zante's is awesome.
If there are no walls, you could probably hit it with a rock.
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about that.
If there are no walls. I personally, I love Zante's. Zante's is awesome. Let's see. Wait, hold on. How do you know about Zante's, Kaylee? Rize 1, what are you guys' plans for Halloween? Plan on wearing any costumes?
I always plan on that and wish I could, but then there's no reason for me to dress up because you got to have plans of some sort of a party or something. But when Halloween comes along, like, okay, I could dress up, but then what? Then where do I go? Just walk along the street? You know, I'm not much of a party person, but yeah, I would love to have a reason to dress up. I've done it before, but you know, you gotta have an event to go to.
And personally, for me, I'm gonna be hanging out with my daughter. Probably go over to the rich neighborhoods and go trick or treating.
Well, that's a reason to dress up. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I don't have much of an excuse. What excuse would I have to celebrate Halloween?
What about Day of the Dead? Are you gonna do anything for Day of the Dead?
I do dress up during Day of the Dead, and walk around. It's kind of an emotional day. We're, you know.
Well, it helped me. I went over for Day of the Dead and grieved Jesse, and I was able to find a little stall set up for Jesse. Yeah. Jesse Morse, the punk rock Johnny Cash.
That's right. People confuse it with like a Mexican version of Halloween, but it really is a day of mourning for those who we have lost.
Or celebrating their lives.
Celebrating their lives. Yes, yeah. It's a day to remember the people that we have lost.
So, Jerome says his studio is $2,195 in South San Francisco.
Whoa. Oh, Jerome.
No.
Gosh.
Yeah, it sucks. Carlo Gambino says Guay is cool. All these questions are no longer about... Yeah.
Cool. Now I know.
Guay? I always thought that they were calling you like a donkey when they call you Guay.
Well, that would be Guay.
Guay, yeah. Okay.
Guay? Is that what you're saying, Guay?
No, he said Guay.
But that's similar to Guay.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. Okay, Carlos, ever been on an ocean boat ride in San Francisco or ever fish off of one?
Many times I have gone fishing here in this city, but off of a pier, and I have been on a fishing boat out in the bay, and I've been on tours, on cruises, and whale watching. Yes, you gotta try boat rides if you live here. You must. I have tried it. You got to go on a nice sunny day, which is you have to luck out, because if you go on a foggy, windy day, no good, not a good experience. Cold, windy.
Carlos, have you ever been on an ocean boat? Okay, I already asked that. Quinting and Queen. Oh, heck, that sounds great. SF is a nice place, but I don't know if I could live in a big city again. I used to live in San Diego. Yeah.
I have been sort of thinking about leaving the city and going to some rural place that's just quiet and peaceful and everything's the same every day. I've been thinking about that, and it'll be cheaper and I can do the things I like to do more. I need more space to work, you know,
Uh,
to work on projects, woodworking projects and building projects. All I have is my little bedroom here, and it's hard to really do much here.
and I didn't show your woodworking tools. You got of course measuring tools. You got Japanese style saw.
Yeah, feel free to move things around. Feel free to open up the toolbox and move things around if you want.
Oh, maybe that's something we should do at the end
Sure.
after
sure.
we're done filming.
Oh, I finally realized that's called a speed square.
Oh yeah, we said that before.
Oh, you were saying what's this called? And I said it's a square, but I can't recall exactly what the name is.
No, I remember that being this a speed square.
Oh, that's a speed square. This one's a combination square.
Oh, okay, that's what.
That's what I was trying to tell you. A combination square.
Okay, so Jerome is asking Pancho Villa's Super Burrito or Zona Rosa.
I would say San Jose Taqueria on 24th and Mission. Basically, 24th and Mission is where they are all competing to get the best burrito. But what I noticed from San Jose Taqueria is that they're fast, they're friendly, the food is fresh, and it's also cheaper than the other places.
Have you been to Zona Rosa?
I think so, but I'm not absolutely certain. If I saw the building, I would know for sure.
I don't know Zona Rosa. I might have been in there, but I would say my favorite would probably. I mean, it's always a safe bet to go with Pancho Villa.
Okay.
Those are some good quality burritos. They're a little bit pricier than some places.
It used to be El Farolito.
Used to be El Farolito was the best by far, but the
The best.
quality has gone down over the last decade or more.
Lots of people agree that San Francisco is the home of the super burrito, where this is where it was invented, and this is also where you'll find the best super burritos.
Yeah. Kaylee, I love the Mission. Quinting and Green, yay, Halloween in SF. Kaylee lived in Twin Peaks, Diamond Heights for a while, the old Army Street.
We're in the Mission right now.
Yeah. James Durkin, yes, people suck. I'm moving to sorry, I want to move to the country so much too. Jerome, okay, wait, oh, okay. Jerome, Hayden Stanion, so
Ooh, Hayden Stanion.
Farolito is the best in South San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Probably.
good. Don't get me wrong. It's yummy.
Well, he said in South San Francisco. So they must have another one over there.
Mm,
Yeah.
right.
So it's around 10 o'clock here. Do you guys have any more questions about Carlos, his personal life? Something you might think that might be interesting for the documentary? Questions specifically about being in the foster care system, his life before, his life afterwards, the transition, something along those lines. Maybe some stories about him being homeless and getting off the street. We kind of were talking about him being homeless, but not recovering from being homeless and finding a place to stay. So any questions like that? I think we're going to be wrapping up here soon. The cameras may die.
Do you think that the audience should at least go on a walk out in the street?
Sure. I mean,
Just as a little change of pace. just so that it
Well,
wasn't.
I wanted to wrap up at the end after I turn off all the cameras and show your artwork because they're asking about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jerome, Jason, Burris. I was in foster care too. Do you have foster brothers or sisters?
You must have been in foster care for a long time to consider them family. The placements that I was at was very temporary. The foster homes and the group homes and the shelters were just a few months at a time. So I guess you could say that all the people there are like my foster brothers and sisters. The closest thing to a foster brother would be Lee. Lee is the only person that I really keep in contact with from foster care system, and we consider ourselves to be foster brothers.
And we actually did live in 2 foster homes together.
We have lived together in the foster care system and as adults.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, we were both living at Tao's place and we were both living at Jim's place. Those were both my foster homes.
I got to experience through your foster home with Tao what it's like to be in a foster home as a teenager, which is cool. It was better than group homes.
Yeah, well, that's because she never told you anything.
I mean, in a foster home, you don't have staff members that come in and are basically there as a job. You know, you live in a home with an individual, and that's the person you live with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were also there when I was in with Jim in his foster home, and honestly, I mean, it's kind of crazy to say. I mean, he was a pedophile and everything, but out of all the places I was in, that was the most like an actual home. That was the only person who treated me as if I was a member of the family and like actually spent money on me and kind of took care of me, you know?
It's hard to really trust somebody that you think might be a sexual predator.
Yeah.
But other than that, I guess it was fine.
I mean, it's kind of weird, right? But like, yeah, I mean, he was the one who had us go to Jumpstart. So we're taking college courses over at the Oregon State University as
I treaded
children, you know? Yeah.
I treaded carefully when he was being so generous because, you know, I felt that his hopes were that he would have some sort of a romantic relationship with me. And I knew for sure that I wasn't interested in that and that he was going to be disappointed, guaranteed. So there was still that conflict inside of me that it was hard to accept all of his generosity, knowing for sure that he was going to be disappointed. He's not going to get what he's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because our interactions with him were a little bit different. Because for you, he was really willing to give you anything.
He had lost his mind with being obsessed with me.
Yeah, he was obsessed with you and he wanted you sexually really badly. And that's all he could think about. And so he was putting himself into debt.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to like impress you with these gifts and to buy you anything you wanted, no matter what it was. If you ever mentioned anything, he would give it to you. He literally gave you the shirt off his back.
Incredible.
But yeah, I mean, so you're very right to feel that way. But for me, he had no real interest in me sexually. And I made it very clear that I was not, that I could never be construed as being homosexual at all.
Well,
so
a lot of the reason that you two were in each other's lives was through me.
Yeah, so he wanted you to be his foster kid.
Yeah.
He made a special house, Casa de Carlos.
If I was out of the picture, I'm not sure he would have been so interested in being around you much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. He was interested in you, and you sabotaged the placement with him because you were getting bad feelings.
It wasn't just that. There was a bit of guilt that I was accepting all of this generosity, you know, knowing for sure that he wasn't going to get what he wanted. I had to put a stop to that.
And Yeah, I mean, I guess he took me in as a foster kid as a consolation prize, essentially, and then later used that to bring you back in. So you were hanging out with me, but you were back over there. But still, even knowing all these things, you would think that I'd be very hurt and feel used and stuff, but it was still one of the best places for me to live because I ate proper food. I was given an allowance. I mean, like I was allowed to live a normal kid life, and I actually was able to have a little bit of money to spend, and I was able to do things that I would never had been able to do before, like go on a vacation, or since really, you know. But
Right.
so I mean, it's kind of weird to say because, like I said, I ended up leaving that place. Because of his excessive behavior. I reported him. I mean, he was also drinking wine along with pain pills, and
It was getting weird.
he was acting very erratically. He'd walk around the house naked.
Walk around the house naked.
Yeah.
One time he spooned with me, and I felt his erection poke me in my lower back. Oh, gosh, like.
Yeah, you were taking a dump, and he walked in the bathroom and stripped naked and jumped in the shower while you were still. Yeah.
One time, I forget how this suddenly happened, but I was just standing there. I guess we were talking, and he suddenly got down on his knees and just hugged my legs. I thought, what is going on with this guy?
Yeah, that's some gross stuff. he liked to wrestle, and I remember he liked to wrestle, and you were punching him in the face, and you punched him until he was bleeding, and I was bugged out by that, and I think you were just trying to make it unpleasant for him, right? Or what were you trying to do? You weren't trying to knock him out. You were just rapping him in the face repeatedly.
I was trying to see how much he would put up from me. How much crap he could tolerate from me. And he tolerated any crap that I threw at him. I was being quite a stinker.
You literally, while he was driving on the freeway, you snapped a rubber band into his eye while he was driving.
That was one of the only times that I actually saw a little like assertive anger, but just a bit. But he accepted that. He was fine with it.
So I was weirded out when you were just like punching him repeatedly in the face to the point where he's bleeding and he's wrestling with you. It turns out later, that's the kind of stuff that turned him on.
That's right.
He would travel around and wrestle with other men and box with them and then have sex with them. So you punching him in the face as he's wrestling with you, that was awesome for him.
Yeah, I didn't realize how awesome. I thought we were just horse playing.
Yeah, it looked to me like you were just trying to make it very unpleasant for him.
Well, it was horseplay, and when you're a teenager, that's fun to just wrestle around.
Well, we've horseplayed and you've never rapped me in the face until I start bleeding. Like the same spot, just repeatedly, just rapping it.
I see what you mean, trying to make it unpleasant.
Yeah. So anyhow, I missed a whole bunch of comments as I was saying this stuff. Hold on. The Rye Dog, this is the top comment. Are you both homo? So I guess let me answer first. So no, I'm married. I've got 2 kids, and no, I'm not homo. Carlos, are you homo? So asked the Rye Dog.
No, I'm not gay. But I think that was clear from the story we were talking about. Or maybe it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we never said. I just said that guy was a pedophile. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that was obviously a major source of friction. You weren't gay, and Jim was either convinced you were gay or that he could make you gay.
Yeah, but also it's kind of a turn on when you can kind of get with somebody who's straight.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a turn on for some of the gay community. But yeah, I think he was convinced that I was gay because I was. How would you describe my personality? I was like a sensitive.
Yeah. You were kind of quiet, reserved,
Soft-spoken, sensitive, artistic, kind of a teenager,
kind of aloof, you know.
an art geek.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say geek, but you would look cool and you wouldn't really say much, and you kind of hang out on the outside a lot of times when people were there in the group home. And because of that, you were able to, a lot of people liked you because you never really did anything offensive and everybody thought you were cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also comes from just being older than everybody. Like towards the end, I mean, I was 17 and most of the other people were younger than me, so I was cool just for being older.
Yeah. Dang it. I can't see the comment. Somebody was asking about whether there was food, water, or toys in the shelter. I couldn't see what that was. Sorry. Post that question again, and I'll try to ask it.
Do you think you could reach my beverage?
Oh,
It's over here.
oh, go. Oh, you're afraid to do it.
Well, because last time I did it, I got scolded.
Okay.
No, that one. Thanks. I think there's not much left.
Well,
Oh wait, there's plenty.
yeah.
Continue.
So, okay, did you, at any point, did you ever think he was taking advantage of you as 25 cool guy?
I felt like I was taking advantage of him by accepting all of these expensive things. I felt like by accepting all these expensive, generous things, I was sort of, my message to him was like, yeah, we have a relationship that's special. A lot of people didn't accept those, or they did. A lot of them.
Let's see. Dang it! Somebody's asking a question about your booty, and I can't see. All I can see is your booty, in that comment. So I'll wait until it rolls up. Let's see. The Rye Dog. I don't like wine drinkers.
I must say, it's becoming numb from sitting here so long.
Mine. I'm just a lumpy.
Is it because I've been moving funny? I'm pretty sure I've been like,
I don't know. I hope that guy got his karma, James Durkin. Well, I reported him. He was actually in the process of getting another foster kid who was even younger, an 8-year-old.
He was creepy, but I still don't think he was dangerous.
Yeah, right, because he would have raped you.
He could have.
He was trying to seduce you, I guess. And he actually got very upset when you turned 18.
But he was basically grooming me.
Yeah.
So if there's a young man out there who maybe is inclined to get with him, he might have done that.
Or yeah, on the fence, borderline, unsure.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he probably did get his way at some point.
Yeah, of course he's done that. We went to Hawaii with him, and there was this 14-year-old kid who had seemed like he had some homosexual tendencies, but
so awkward.
But Jim was like a wolf, like a hungry wolf.
He couldn't resist
around a wounded animal. Yes. He was just all over this kid. It was ridiculous.
Yes, and this kid was with his parents.
Yeah, and his parents were like kind of backed away. They were not protecting him. So it tells me, you know what I mean? When those kinds of things happen to these kids, those are kids who are kind of set up for that kind of thing to happen.
So if Jim was left alone with this kid, if this kid was, like you said, on the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim probably would have gotten what he wanted.
Yeah, actually, when we were over inside the group home, Jim was the first gay person I ever met.
Same here.
The first gay person I ever got to know. I didn't meet other people before, but he's the first gay person I ever got to know. And at the time, I didn't know anything. I was like, okay, cool. I never met somebody who was gay before.
Same here.
So I asked him, like, I don't know why I asked him. I asked him, like, what was the youngest guy that you've ever been with? And he said, well, I was over in Mexico, and there was this 14-year-old kid who was just following me around and wouldn't leave me alone. So I eventually gave him what he was looking for. And I always remember that. And then later on, when we were over in Hawaii and we saw him just all over that kid, I was like, this is probably another one of those. This is probably what it was.
He knew his
Jim
name.
being all over that kid.
Yeah, like he knew his name, and he kept like calling him by his name.
Yeah, he was.
And
But like I was saying, I think that's that kid being like following him around, is Jim hounding that kid. So I think it's quite different from how he presented it.
at some point, he ended up taking a picture with him.
That's right. That was weird too.
That was weird.
With your camera, right?
Was it my camera? I would have had that picture if it was.
Well, Jim bought your camera, so
Yeah, I don't recall, but
yeah.
oh yeah, that was weird. That was awkward. To have our, what was he, 40 years old at this time?
Yeah, something like that.
And
40,
he
42.
he was just, he couldn't resist. He was just all over this young man.
Okay, yeah, no, why is that guy adopting again? So he didn't ever adopt us. He was a foster parent. And actually, because I reported him to the foster care agency, that got ruined, his plans of being a foster parent to that next kid who was like 8. Let's see, I can't read the whole comment. Something got me thinking, how does anyone come out of this situation normal and healthy? Do you feel emotionally damaged by all of this, or do you feel stronger than you ever have been? Okay, that's from Wheeled Cliff. I'm hearing all this. Okay, I'm hearing all this and I'm thinking, how does anyone come out of this situation normal and healthy? Do you feel emotionally damaged by all this, or do you feel stronger than you've ever been?
I would say I missed out on many opportunities of my development. During the most important years of my development, I was restricted from being able to learn and have experiences. So I would say it's not something that makes you stronger, unless by stronger you mean being able to hold up better to betrayals and not trusting people, becoming emotionally hardened. I think it's more of a strength to be emotionally sensitive and have the ability to trust others and love others. Those abilities get kind of worn away when you're in the system.
Oh, okay. So I guess this is a repeat question from Samia Kamal, who likes you, by the way, Carlos. Gave you a little hearty heart.
Right.
Before, or actually quite a few hearty hearts.
We like hearts, come on. We like them.
Would you find enough food / water / toys in the foster care, or was there a problem with that?
During Christmas in the shelter, it was kind of sad. Somehow people thought that's what needed to happen. We got tons and tons of toys. It was almost like a bunch of garbage. There was packaging everywhere, toys just being all over the place, left behind, thrown in the garbage. There was an abundance of toys. I don't know, there was something kind of sad about that. But yeah, these kids were still without a proper home. Yeah, but they were buried in toys, all right. I don't know that. Yeah, I guess you can say there are, during Christmas you do get things that were donated by charities.
So you and I actually got a very different experience on Christmas. You got sort of bombarded with gifts, and I didn't get anything.
Well, you just didn't get exactly what you wanted.
But you happened to get 3 of what I wanted.
That's right. I got 3 portable CD players,
Yeah.
and Lee wanted one.
Yeah, I wanted a CD player.
Yes. I gave Lee one of my CD players, by the way.
Yeah.
Not the best one. I got to keep the best one.
Yeah. But
Clothes. We got gift cards. So we got gift cards to places like Target, Walmart.
I actually saved the gift cards that I got. I very rarely got gift cards, but I saved all of them. And then I got, later when I was living in a place called Mac House, Mary Ann Carpenter House here in San Francisco, it's transitional housing, somebody stole my wallet. And all of the cards that I got throughout my life were in that wallet and were stolen.
Dang.
So those were, that was not gift cards, by the way. Those were gift certificates. That
To where?
predates the gift cards, to Target and to other places like that.
Why didn't you use them?
I was saving it. I was saving my money too. I was saving all the money I had saved up throughout my stay in there, which wasn't very much. It was only like $93.
You were being responsible and saving your money.
Yeah, then it all got stolen by that guy there. It's like a Latino gangster who was over there. He's a Norteño. But yeah, I ended up breaking into his room, and I found all of the spent cards, the empty cards inside of his drawer, gift cards.
Being in the system, it's also quite likely that you're gonna get beat up, either by other residents who are emotionally disturbed, youngsters, or the staff. It's very common for the staff to get frustrated and put their hands on you. And a lot of the time, there's no one to turn to. The staff are the only people to turn to. So, yeah, I kept to myself and made sure not to annoy the staff or get in trouble or have an attitude, because I knew that there was nothing I can do against a grown man. But I saw other friends of mine, just being beat up and wrestled to the ground, pinned, having their arms twisted back, tortured at times, smothered in the face with a pillow. I saw one young man who was probably in 5th grade, and they beat him up so bad that the entire room had blood dripping from the walls, and they called it the quiet room, where that happened. It would basically be like a cell in a jail, where you're locked in with another staff member, and of course the staff members write the report of what took place, and it's always the kid's fault that the staff member was simply having to defend himself.
Yeah.
Lee got assaulted by the husband of the director of the program. So this was the husband of the director who the director was allowing this man to be in that program and have his way. He wasn't even a paid staff member.
He was actually a member of the board.
Oh God, he was a member of the board. Oh, and then these people are getting paid at the same time.
Yeah.
And they also, I believe, they actually take home some of the food that's supposed to go to the residents. They keep some of the resources for themselves.
Okay, so let me quickly read these comments. Zan Kota, Carlos, are you planning to make it as far as Key West, Florida during your bike travels?
Oh man, I wish I could, but I would love to just go all the way to the East Coast, but that would mean that I would need to be on the road for probably around 2 months. I would totally do that if I had a place to come back to. Like, I'm gonna have to keep paying rent here at the place that I'm at now. So that would mean 2 months of paying rent that a place that I'm not even staying at. So, I might have to do that in between transitioning from one apartment to another. I might just take a few months off and just be on the road.
If Carlos's mom wanted him back, why didn't he get reunited with her after he got out of foster care?
My mom, I was removed from my house supposedly because of neglect, being underweight, and what they call emotionally disturbed. I was showing signs of emotional trauma, and so I was taken out of my home, and that was really terrible for my mom. My mom always talked about that, how much of a terrible experience that was for her, and how she had to fight for me, as she referred it. She had to fight for me, going to court and getting support from friends and other resources to help reunite with me. And yeah, after a year in foster care, she was finally able to get custody of me again. I do remember that. I was 3 years old, and I was able to move back in with my mom, who actually cared about me. And yeah, it was much nicer being back with my mom than it was being in the foster home. But even then, we had, she had authorities watching every move she made, and keeping track of medical records, school records, counseling records, and my mom and I, we both had to go together to go see therapists together. So that was always something that was going on. Like, the foster care system was in my life throughout my childhood.
And then, so when you left the foster care system, why weren't you reunited with your mom?
When I left the foster care system when I was 18.
That's what she asked, yeah.
The reason I entered the foster care system again when I was a teenager was because my mom, the only parent I had, died of cancer, and she was the only grown-up we had to depend on. So yes, when she died, I literally had nowhere to turn to. And I didn't go straight into foster care. I kind of did couch hopping with friends and teachers and people that I knew before I finally gave up on this whole couch hopping thing and asked to be put into the foster care system.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to quickly ask the Twitch questions because they seem to go real quick if you don't ask them. Laban Naika, hey bro, and then Gugu Gaipen, do you vape weed, Carlos?
Not currently. I've been trying to kind of stay away from any mind-altering substances. I mean, at this moment, I'm only struggling with cigarettes and I guess coffee. But yeah, I was very much into cannabis. Up until a few months ago. I've cultivated it. I've processed it. I've done. I've concentrated it. So yeah, but that's kind of a thing of the past now. I'm trying to kind of leave that behind.
Okay, and do you feel like you need to take extra precautions in order to not accidentally touch or step on a needle in public places in San Francisco?
I don't think. I mean, seeing needles around is. I mean, there's tons of nasty things all over the ground. Needles just happen to be one of them. I don't think they're all that dangerous. But yeah, there's all kinds of nastiness all over the streets.
So now we're down to just one camera. So I'm just going to read the comments that are on screen right now because we only got one camera left.
I could use a smoke break if the audience would like to come out with.
Nah, our cameras basically dead. I think we should wrap up at the end of this, show a little bit of your art, and then get a move on because it's already after. It's going to be 11 soon. It's 10:36. So, Carlos, how do you feel about Trump's recent comments about the homeless in SF? And that's by Stimmy Job.
I don't really know what the comments were, but I guess they were not positive or encouraging. It's hard. I don't know what his comments were.
Yeah. James Durkin, sounds like hell. He also said, yes, you have to watch your step here in SF. It's a disaster zombie apocalypse zone, lol. And NJ89er, there's poop everywhere out here in SF.
Poop is the thing to worry about more than needles.
Yeah. I've stepped in poop.
Sometimes it's just guaranteed. There's so much sprinkled all over the sidewalk that you're probably going to get it on your shoe. I mean, maybe not a big pile of poop on your shoe because you might go around that one, but there's just so much of it that you're probably going to come home with some poop on your shoe.
All right, so Kaylee says, you guys deserve a break, and I think so. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this camera. Now, hopefully, this camera, oh, dang it, we forgot to do a clapper. Oh, well. Whoop. Let me stop and turn this off. That's my audio recorder. There we go. And hopefully this didn't get corrupted also because I ran out of juice.
Oh. You know how long ago?
No, I just looked up. It was probably not that long ago because I had been looking up from time to time to make sure everything's okay. So, why don't we quickly look at your art again?
I don't think I have art. I usually give away my best drawings, or if I do a drawing, it'll be like with somebody in mind.
Oh yeah, you could take that mic off now. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I have. The one that happens to be on that clipboard right now. I almost feel like one of those angry people stepping off of an interview, like, get this off of me. I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm not.
Jim Allen says, Carlos, every kid thinks about being an army man, a rock star. What was your dream?
Oh, I thought I would be the next biggest artist of the world. I thought that I would be the next Da Vinci or the next Michelangelo. And grown-ups around me were basically telling me that I would be. And like they would have a drawing of mine and say, "Oh, I'm gonna save this. This is gonna be expensive one day." Which is kind of odd. Like they're gonna sell it. Like it's a special thing I'm giving them, and they're thinking about selling it possibly. But yeah. This is the only drawing I have at the moment. Let me see here. Yeah, this is Paul McCartney and his wife Linda.
It looks like there's a drawing underneath that.
Is it? It's okay. It's just.
Oh, you were starting to do your cat.
Yeah, it's the cat. Yeah, that's basically all I've got at the moment.
What about that drawing of Laura as a baby when she was crying?
Oh, I ended up messing it up. The paper started getting torn because of too much. It was cheap paper, but you have it's all been photographed. So if you look at my Facebook, you can see a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And I guess we can put the Facebook address. What?
In the comment section, and I could copy it and put it in the description.
Right. Yeah. So during the YouTube upload, the Facebook address will be there so that you can look at my art and possibly give me some comments on it. I would appreciate that.
Wow. Kaylee says you've been great. Thank you, Carlos and Lee. Good night, says Cringing and Gween. So
good night, Cringing.
Good night.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Zen Cola. Kota. I almost stepped in poop while on O'Farrell while visiting. Carlo Gambino, who's been waiting here silently the whole time. Holy shit, that is hella good, Carlos. Wowza, good detail.
Thanks, Carlo. I know you've been to my Facebook, so you're not surprised. But thank you. I appreciate your support. You've always been an awesome viewer, and it's great to have you here this time in my place. And you're live. And you're here from California, right, Carlo? You're not too far away.
Yeah. And let's see. Goo Goo Guy Pen. Thank you, Carlos and Lee. Well, thank you. Whoop.
Goo Goo?
Thank you, Goo Goo. Goo Goo Guy Pen.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
It's dark though, right? They can't really see much.
Well, I don't know. It's weird. I was thinking about putting them in the limelight.
Should we turn on
See what
the
it's
lights?
like to be you. So this is about where your head was, and that's I was sitting over yonder.
That's what I got to see.
Is that?
Yes. Oh wait, you're up here, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
Yeah.
Carlos, tell me about yourself. Oh, Brenda Bourne says Carlos. No.
yeah.
So that's
That light. You can't tell how bright that light is.
but it's dimmed. I it reminds me of the sun when you're out in space. How everything looks dark except for that bright light.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's let me see how it looked
The
like.
cat. Let's show him the cat.
That's unplugged, right? Well, look, they can see the cat.
Yeah, let me.
You don't need too much light. The camera can pick it up.
Let's see.
Yeah.
There's the cat.
Yep. It exists. It's real.
It's a real cat.
Okay. How much would you charge to draw a portrait of me? Wow. I've been trying to get Carlos to do that kind of thing because he certainly could use the money. I mean, we all could. I could use the money too. But like, I've been trying to get Carlos to make his art and get scans, make prints, sell his originals.
If you reach out to me on Facebook and I get a sense of exactly what you're looking for and the size and the medium, it shouldn't be too unreasonable.
So I guess probably would you charge by the hour?
I think a lot of it, the size and what exactly is in the drawing. Is it just somebody's face? Are there hands? Is it multiple people? Is it a whole family of people?
So let's say it's a portrait of one person.
One person.
It's from their mid torso up. It's got their hands in there. It's got the face. They want it to be charcoal.
I think it would be probably somewhere around $75.
75. No, that's not enough. You got to charge more. I think you should charge like.
It would be a small thing.
No, they want it to be as big as that canvas.
Okay. Yeah. That would be more time consuming. Yeah, I'd have to know exactly what we're looking at here. What exactly am I doing? But probably under 100.
You got to charge more, Carlos. You're too used to giving your stuff for free. That guy who was selling his paintings over on PAL, he was selling them for like $300-400.
Yeah.
You got to think, if this was something your job, for cleaning, you charge $35 an hour, right?
That's right.
Right. So shouldn't you be making at least as much with your art? You should be making more theoretically than you do as a cleaner.
Yeah.
So let's say it's going to take you, 3 hours, would you say? To do a portrait?
Yeah, it all depends. If it's with the pencil, if it's with charcoal, if it's with the paintbrush.
A paintbrush, that's going to be more.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm thinking of the consumer, and see, they can find a portrait artist to go ahead and do something decent for.
But it's from you. I think that's the biggest point. It's from you. I say, why don't you start at an introductory price of $150? I think that should be it, and your general price should be like $200.
Yeah, that would certainly motivate me to spend the time it takes to do that.
Look, during this stream, DW donated $100.
Yeah.
NJ89er donated $60. You know what I mean? They didn't actually get anything. They don't have anything in their hands, other than the satisfaction of giving us money to help us along. So
Yes. Well, I
They
mean,
would be getting that and more if they were to get a portrait that was drawn
Yeah.
by you.
I don't think I've ever gotten anything from the donations.
Not directly. I've bought you food on
Yeah.
a stream before, and you are actually going to get some money right at the end of this.
The $38.
The 30 plus a little extra.
Yeah, I mean, this is for Lee's channel. It's your channel, so I...
And you also got the $70 from that guy who saw us.
That's right. He
Gave you
handed
cash.
he handed me $100, and then Lee and I split it. Lee took 30, I took 70.
Yeah. Yeah, but I really think that that you could charge more than just 75. I think 150 is where you should start.
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna do something, I mean, how long did you spend on that?
An afternoon, probably 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the 75 is not worth that.
Right, but that's 2 people as well.
Okay.
I just think of how, you know, there's other portrait artists out there that will do a decent thing, you know, for 50, 75, you know, around that much.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, like I said, they would be getting it from you. That's the guy who I watch on these streams. He drew this.
right, which viewer
That's
is
Carlos.
this?
So Goo Guy Pen said $75 is a bargain.
If they were to display it somewhere, that would be also more motivation for me. But if it's not going to be seen by anybody, that would be kind of sad.
Well, but you would know that this is a viewer that would kind of, you know,
Yeah.
these people like you, you know.
Yeah. I would like to before it leaves my hands, I would like to at least take a picture of it or copy it and keep it as part of my portfolio.
Yeah. I guess that's the sad part, right? If it's really great, you don't want to give it away.
Yeah, that's the thing that I have a sentimental attachment to a lot of the work that I do, and it's kind of sad for me to even sell it. So sometimes I give it away as a gift to people that are special in my life.
So Zan Kota is the one who was asking how much. So we should probably wrap things up now.
Right.
So any last words you want to say to the audience, Carlos?
How many people are here?
We got 19 people on YouTube and 1 person on Twitch, and I believe that 1 person is Goo Guy Pen.
Right. Thank you guys for joining us during the interview and for your questions. I would say they were certainly helpful. And welcome to my place.
Let's see. We got some more comments. Whatever the market will bear, Carlos. Google Guy Pen sounds disappointed. Are you going to show us outside and smoke?
Should we step outside on the deck?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to geolocate your place.
Well, as long as we point the camera at the house, not at the surroundings.
Okay. Stimmy Job. He is 100% right. 200 to 350.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, it does take a lot of work. It is easier to clean somebody's home and come back home with $150. That's easier than doing this artwork.
Yeah, it's a skilled trade, and you got to treat it like such. You can't just treat it like something you're doing for free.
I guess you're right, but I just imagine that a lot of people think that's ridiculous. Like I'm not paying that much when I can pay somebody else. But I guess so. Then I can filter out the people who are, that people who really appreciate it from those who don't really appreciate it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a waste of your time. So
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, $200 to $300 does sound reasonable, and I think at that price, I would be putting some serious work into it.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit rusty. You might have to even throw away the first one. Like, nah, not good enough for my first sale. You know.
What would be great about that is that I'll finally be able to produce more.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't do it very often is because my time is precious, and if I'm not really getting anything in return for my work, it's kind of a waste of time.
Oh man, I spent a lot of money buying you those art supplies. It makes me sad to see them just put away there, though.
Oh, they're not put away. They're right here.
Look at them all put away.
Are they put away, guys? Did I just put away Lee's art supplies? But this is what Lee gave me.
Yeah, it's a little, boom. That's all. That's watercolor. Most people don't know this, but watercolor is more expensive than oil. So this is Daniel Smith. It's Winsor and Newton, and that's Turner. Of the three, that would be the cheapest. But these are very high end.
This would be the cheapest.
The Turner, which is funny because this color I love.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like the paper is tucked away. It'd be nice to come over and to see like your table, like you got the art out and stuff. They got scrap paper around, you know.
What's the purpose? You know, like I said, like, yeah, I guess if I was getting paid for the work,
Yeah.
okay, then there is a purpose to putting the time and energy into that. That's why I do physical labor.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the physical labor that I do for work. But yeah, I come home with cash.
You want to go out and show people the outside area?
Yeah.
And then maybe we should end it over there. Let me turn off these lights before they blow up. Boom. That's one light off. And then I'm going to have to take a bike ride home. Boom. Wow, look, it's still glowing.
Wow.
Look how sensitive the camera. Oh, shoot. That thing is swaying.
That
It's
is-
swaying like the waves of the ocean.
That is one hot thing. It's not even plugged in, and it's still just glowing.
Yeah, they can't see it.
Whoopsies.
Can you turn on the overhead? That way I could reduce things down a little bit. Wow, no one can see anything. Okay.
Yikes.
It's got an air cushion. Oh, you're gonna try to touch it?
Heck no, guys! You can fry an egg on this light.
I've melted a stained glass window by shining a light through it.
That's right. It was like 2 feet away, and it was still melting.
Yeah, it was I was just trying to shine the light through there because somebody thought it would be cool. Oh, so we should be quiet for your roomies.
Welcome back again to our roomy kitchen. This is a big kitchen for the city. Like I was saying before, we have some of the rooms don't have enough room, and yet this kitchen is plenty big.
Oh, so Station Stream. I thought the purpose would be just to get your expression out. Hi, by the way.
What's that?
So from Twitch, there's a user, Station Stream, who thought that the purpose of doing the art would be to express yourself.
It takes time and work, and once it's done, no one really sees it. Even just having it on display would be something.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ooh, it's feeling chilly out there. Look at that. Is this right? Wow. Our light's not working out there.
Oh, the cat wants to go out.
Yes, it is. Can they see us?
So, they could barely see you. Now they could see you.
Boy, I haven't had one of these in a while. That's
So
been
you
the
want
longest.
to take your patch off?
Yeah, that just takes the edge off, or else I really would have had to come out.
Ooh.
So shall we sign off then?
Well, yeah. I don't know if there's anything notable out here in the back that you wanted to show them, or
Well, I guess. Oh man, I mean, during the day that we do have a nice view.
yeah.
was going to say, that would be one of the highlights of this place that I'm renting. Is we get to be out on this deck with the view of the city. You know, it's a great place to hang out, have a barbecue, just read a book, whatever.
Oh yeah, Kaylee says clean those lenses with alcohol if you touch them. I did. Probably what caused one of them to pop. I don't know. I cleaned the bulbs with 93% isopropyl alcohol, but could be that I touched. But it was 1,000. The problem is they're Chinese lights. I just don't.
Right at you, isn't it?
It's blowing off that way. But yeah, they're Chinese lights. I couldn't afford airy lights.
But it wasn't the bulb that broke. It was that glass.
Yeah, but maybe he could be right. Could be that one of us touched the Fresnel element, and that's why it blew.
I've been doing as much as I could not to disturb those structures that you put there.
Edwin J. reminds me of my mom's old houses. Pan around the balcony. Well, Carlos, can I pan around or should I not?
Why not?
All right.
I mean,
should I go to the wide angle or should I be on the more light sensitive
it's
one?
too bad that it's nighttime because we do have a lovely view. There's the Sutro Tower in front of it.
Well, let's see. I'm just gonna slowly pan around.
We have this giant conifer tree right here in our backyard.
I'm just doing a 360. All right, so now let me switch to the wide angle. Okay.
All I see is darkness.
Yeah, they could see a few lights floating around. Whoops. Yeah. So I'm gonna switch
How are you doing,
back.
by the way? How are things at home? Are they settling down?
It's oh boy, life is hard.
You seemed frazzled when I was talking to you earlier.
Well, I mean, an essential piece of the equipment that we needed today was missing.
That's right. We would have had to have traveled on bike through 2 cities just to get that cable.
It's pretty easy, but it's not an expensive part, but it's an essential part. So that plus I only had like 4 hours of sleep. I was up all night. By the way, people, after like a year and a half of like begging and pleading Google and like doing everything in my power and beyond my power to try to get that stupid merch shelf integration on YouTube, I was able to get at least the preliminary steps of the let's see, oil, grease, and acids help to destroy the glass because it heats up suddenly. Yeah. Is this live? Yes, it is, Long Ho. From your finger. Lee, is there a stream tomorrow or is it Saturday? Isn't it? I don't know what S is for. What district are you on? We are in the mission. La Mission.
Mission Street is just right there.
Okay, now we got a weak signal. I think I was better off on the Wi-Fi. Okay, here we are. So, what's going on, people? I turned off the Wi-Fi because you guys were saying this poor signal. Now I got great signal, but the stream probably dropped out for you guys. Good night, God's country. Are we done? What happened? No, the stream dropped out. I turned off I turned off the Wi-Fi here at the house. So yeah, that's what happened. Oh yeah, Streamlabs. Let me show you while we're out here smoking. Let me see if I can bring them up. Not Streamlabs, sorry. I'm talking about what is going on here with all this doodle-doo.
Aren't those Texas?
So anyhow, hold on. Let me see what you think, Carlos, of these Teespring shirts. And there's other stuff too, even a tote bag. Let me see if
merch.
Yes. Dashboard, storefront. Let me look over there. So, yeah, one of the hoodies actually should have large tall, which would be awesome for me, but it's grayed out. I can't select it.
Man, that blue one is neat.
Yeah,
That's a girl shirt, isn't it?
yeah. So, but you could change the colors.
Okay.
What I just
Oh.
have it displayed as a certain color, but you could go into any design and change the color.
I like that
But
blue one. Oh,
yeah, I
nice.
know. Yeah, so I got it set up.
Oh, the orange looks like a jail.
I know.
kind of thing.
I went through every color, and I only chose the colors that looked reasonably good.
Uh-huh.
So you can't really get any ugly one. There is a sort of military one that's not as cool as it look, even those socks.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. That is neat merch. Oh, the green one.
yeah.
Nice.
And look, there's even lady stuff in pink.
A mug?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's mug, there's a phone case. They got stickers.
Well, we can go back inside if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought it was kind of cool being out here. People kind of liked it. The signal's good because there's no building in the way.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a jacket. Oh,
I think the
this
light in
is.
the back might be kind of blinding everything.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
This is the jacket though. This one looks really nice, but it's 45 buckers.
Is the audience seeing what we're seeing?
They're not seeing. They're seeing us. But I was just excited to show you. But look at that.
That is some nice merch. Wow. Whoa, you have such a selection.
What happened? What happened? Ah. Okay. Oh, Stickin' Monkeys is now following. Thank you. Lee, what was the pedophile Jim's last name? His last name was Ward.
Middle name Francis. Jim Francis Ward. Jim, if you're out there, what are you up to nowadays?
Yeah, probably not too happy right now, if he is out there watching this. So, Carlos should think about designing a print-on-demand products and selling it through LeaseGym. He should set up his own channel and sell his own stuff and get his own support. I've been trying to say that he should set up an Etsy or something, and I would send you guys over there to help him out.
All of this social media stuff is just something I haven't really done. It's kind of mysterious to me.
So,
This one.
okay.
Yeah.
Does Carlos smoke menthols or Marlboros?
Oh,
American spirits.
these are just all natural American spirits. Yeah. Not menthol.
Are you shaking, Carlos?
Yeah.
Okay, we should probably go in. I feel the wood quivering.
It's a chilly night out here. It was really toasty these past couple days. Like really toasty, really warm, and suddenly it's windy and cold.
Yeah.
So let's go back in now.
All right. Too bad. I wish I could. Maybe I can. I think I can try to do a screen capture. But I don't think I could get the comments to display on top. That would be cool if I could. Yeah, I can order samples if there's something you're interested, but it still costs me. Yeah,
You don't have to order your own merch.
yeah. Anyhow, people, I guess we should probably wrap up because I gotta get home. It's 11:07. I don't have any lights on my bike. I'm gonna be carrying expensive equipment, and I'm gonna be going uphill. So, anyhow, and the signal's cutting out here too. So, goodbye, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to NJ89er. Thank you to DW. Thank you to Brenda Barnes. Thank you to Nippy. Let's see. Thank you to Wheeler. Thank you to all of my Patreons. And I'm glad you guys could be a part of it. And maybe I'll put up some sample footage later on in the week. So stay tuned. If you did check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Lee's channel, and you don't even have to be a Patreon member if you're not ready to, if you're not feeling it, but at least give it a follow, and you could see when I put up little samples, you could see what it looked like over on that camera there. Is that on screen? And what it looked like over there. And you could see your comments being answered by Carlos, but it's going to take some work to try to sync up that audio.
It was a little tricky to kind of switch between the live streaming and focusing on documentary interviewing, but it was interesting.
Oh, so all right then. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.